Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throw Down Your Questions, episode 389. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going?
And Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, just the three of us.
Just the three of us.
Down for the count. I guess motherfuckers, celebrating Father's Day or something. So we got like the three hosts of Throwdown because it's always like this. Like if I'm not here, Manny's there. If Manny's not there, Carlos is there. So we run this motherfucker always. So we running it now.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was celebrating Father's Day, and then someone gifted me a arcade cabinet. I don't know who it was from, but it just appeared out of nowhere.
I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I won't. Yeah, we don't know what's going on with Chris. Don't know what's going on with Brett. Don't know what's going on with Brian. Everybody's just gone.
Everybody's gone.
So it's just three of us. So forgive us if the show's only half an hour long,
Yeah, where we all agree on everything.
Well, that's the thing. It's like the three of us, we kind of generally agree on most things. So no throwing down today, But I was going to do this regardless. But since it is Father's Day, we're answering all bonus questions tonight.
Whoa.
So everything kind of works together. You know what I'm saying?
For all your fathers out there.
Your father. Oh, man. All right, let's get into it. We do have some Father's Day questions, but we'll get to those in a bit. Let's answer the first one. Crazy Kaiser. Right. At what point did you realize Shredder's Revenge was now your game of the year? He goes, in all seriousness, the simple formula just works, and I absolutely had a blast with the co-op. Yeah, Shredder's Revenge, fucking awesome.
Good stuff.
I wouldn't go as far as saying it's my game of the year, but it is up there. It's very good. But then again, it of course is up there. I've only played like 4 fucking games this year, So it's like kind of naturally up there just by process of elimination because there's nothing else I can. Because I always write whenever I beat a game down. I've literally beaten 4 games this year. Like how sad is it? There's nothing coming out.
So it's Elden Ring, it's Horizon, it's Shredders. That's 3.
Yeah.
So there's one more.
Oh, it's Chris.
I'm gonna say, Chris is here. Let's go.
Oh, Chris is the 4th game.
We finally have a father on Throwdown, man. On Father's Day. Wait for him to get ready there. By the way, the other one is the PC. Oh, Chris.
Hello.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, so Carlos. The other game is a PC port of a PlayStation game.
Was it Horizon Zero Dawn?
No, it
came out this year, brand new this year.
The port was new, or the
port,
game?
The port is new.
Last of Us Part 2?
No, the port is new. I'm gonna give you one super easy clue. Like you're gonna get it instantly.
God of War?
Boy, yes, God of War.
Oh yeah, there you go.
yeah. So those are the only 4 games I beat this year because there's like nothing out.
Interesting.
Yo, man, but did you get that platinum?
In the original God of War, I did. Yeah, I did in the original God of War.
You ain't doing that again.
Yeah, there's no platinum on PC, but I did.
That's why I asked a stupid question.
Wait, Guardians of the Galaxy was last year, right? Yeah, because I did that.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
Not for me and Manny though.
Yeah, I did get the platinum in Horizon though, and in Elden Ring. Let's fucking go.
There you go.
So hey, I have a good track record. Every PlayStation game I played this year, I have a platinum.
But you ain't gonna do that for no Turtles. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, I don't have it on PS5. I have it on PC.
Oh,
that's the loophole. My PC. Anyway, Ninja Turtles. Yeah, game's great. It's awesome. Hey, Chris, you played it already, right?
No, I haven't. I got it on Game Pass.
Oh, nice. We have different versions. So Manny has it on PlayStations. I got it on PC.
No, I have it on PC also.
On my PC? Nice.
Game Pass has PC port also.
Oh, let's go.
No.
Play anywhere.
It was right on the front page. I was like, oh, that's okay. I get it right there.
Also, Xbox is the only platform that allows you to play with 6 players. Xbox and PC.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
PlayStation doesn't let you do that?
PlayStation doesn't do it. Only does 4 locally and
trash.
2 online. Yeah.
Oh, where's
Wait, what?
Where's the great fat phony Family Guy soundboard?
Yeah, right.
Yo,
hey, Sony, you're a great big phony.
Yo, man, so let me get this straight.
By the way, is that confirmed?
It is confirmed.
I need to look into
I trust Manny.
Yeah,
Manny.
I don't trust Manny, but I got to confirm this.
4 local.
The PlayStation 4 and 5 don't allow for more than 4 players.
What?
Yeah.
So online it's 4 players.
Online, no. Okay. Online, it's 6 players. You can do 6 players online.
No matter what console, right?
Yes, no matter what console.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Oh.
That's the part I was messing
but
me up.
if you want to have 4, if you want to have 6 locally, you can't do that.
Okay, because I did hear that, but the thing is, okay, this is interesting because that's what I remember hearing, right? But when I was doing my research and when I'm playing it on PC, I'm like, oh, up to 6 players. Okay, cool. Never thought about it. So I was like, somebody must have been fucking up. Oh, apparently they were talking about the PlayStation and Nintendo Switch versions then.
Yes.
Manny.
Interesting.
Wait.
Yes.
So what's interesting, Manny? I have a question.
Yeah.
How many
Throw down your
players-
questions. Excuse me.
Is this a question? Yo, how many players can you play online for Halo Infinite?
Oh, big fat 0.
No.
You know?
Epic fail. Where's Adam?
Epic fail.
Man, we're still waiting for that, man.
You know?
But yeah, for Turtles, it's if you have 4 people locally, then you can fill in the last 2 with with online folks. I actually did play the 6-player online. That's kind of nuts. That right there.
Interesting. Oh, can you do it? Can you do it like via matchmaking, or do you have to?
Yeah,
have, like,
you can
people?
just open it. You just open the door and then just let it. Just pick one. You have a choice as to which rooms that you can go into. It just gives you a bunch of them at random, possibly ones that are closer to you or have better connection, and you can just jump right in with 6 people.
Very interesting.
Yeah, so I did a little bit of that, and I got some of the online trophies or the multiplayer trophies.
Interesting. But yeah, the game's awesome. Go play it.
Yeah, it's a fun game. Like like he said, it's nothing better than just having sort of a simple sort of experience. You can sit down. You don't need to worry too much. You don't need to have this earth-shattering story. It's just like, all right, they're building Krang. There you go.
That's it. All right, cool.
Why?
Yeah.
Why Krang's torso is in an arcade machine? Meh. Who cares?
Yeah. Why is his head in a zoo? Man, don't worry about it.
Yeah, why was his head sent to the Channel 6 news station? We don't know.
Yeah.
It's there.
All right, cool, man. Chris, oh yeah, you haven't played yet. Will we get your thoughts on Thursday?
Oh yes.
All right. Next up, Jay Shep in the house. Hold on, is he in the building? Is he in the building today though?
Jay Shep is definitely. I don't know.
No, I don't see him. Uh-oh. All right. Let's move on here. Jay Shep. Okay. With the introduction of Xbox TV, should Xbox owners who value physical copies of games be concerned that this generation will be the last that Microsoft makes Xbox consoles? We've been talking about this for a while, how Microsoft is leading Xbox towards that direction. I'm not sure if this will be the last one with a console, but I think there will be a future where Xbox as a console doesn't exist. It's just a pure app, and that's all, So that's going to happen eventually. I don't know if it's going to happen next generation, but it will happen eventually. Gary, we've been saying this for years.
Yeah, they're definitely traveling down that route, and to be honest, that's their strength. We've said that plenty of times. Software is their strength. They don't want to be. They don't want to go through all the trouble of selling you boxes. They want you to. They want you to get into this thing. But at least for now, and it's still making the money. Obviously Xbox Series S did quite well. So it's like, all right, they're gonna keep it going as long as it's making money. And so as soon as it starts to drop under a certain point, they're just gonna be like, all right, let's just stick with the streaming / software solution.
Yeah. So I would say Xbox physical fans don't have to worry right now, and probably not even for next gen. But after that, I think physical people in general will have to be worried, because I don't even think PlayStation is going to last that long. I think they're going to be like, you get an app now too. I'm talking about like 10, 15 years into the future. Probably 15, 20 years, because this console's cycle is going to last like 7 years probably. Next one after that is probably out just as long. So after like 20 years, then you should worry.
Well, no, for sure. If they do a mid-gen refresh again, right?
Yeah, we've been hearing those rumors.
Xbox Series Z or whatever the hell they call this one. If there is only a SKU, if they do maybe a refresh of the refresh, and you see a SKU without a disk drive, like they just go, you know what, we're done with that. That's when you need to worry. That means after that, there's no more physical media. They're done. Look, I mean, Tony and I have PCs. I've got no drive in this
My
anymore.
PC?
I
Yeah.
can't read any Blu-rays or anything in my PC anymore, unless I buy an external thing to do it. But a lot of laptops do come without drives. Like consoles may go the same way. It might take a little while, like Tony said, but yeah, eventually it's physical
Yeah,
media.
laptops look
Even
like
now, it
this
doesn't
now.
mean anything.
It's like
Yeah.
you can't fit nothing on them, you know?
Most PS5 games, it's like a glorified license key,
Yeah,
right? On the
that's-
disc. You're downloading the whole fucking day one patch is the game.
Yeah, that's when I stopped buying physical games. When I realized, like, wait a minute, the disc is nothing more than a transportation means. Why am I bothering? You know, that's when I stopped. Because at least, see, when the very rare occasion I buy a Switch game, I actually still buy physically because there's a point to it, you know? But with like PS and Xbox, there's no point. And obviously, PC went all digital years ago, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, it's just the future. Again, and we've been saying this on Throwdown. Not that we're fans of it, we're just telling you guys this is what's going to happen, you know? So just
I wouldn't
get
be
ready.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we get sort of a streaming device for Microsoft,
Yeah.
like a Roku kind of looking thing that's just
Agreed.
an Xbox and it's just a little box that you can stream everything. Wouldn't be surprised with that. I wouldn't be surprised with them using the Surface to sort of work as sort of their quote unquote Xbox brand. Because like you mentioned, once all of these applications are on Apple TVs, on Roku's, on TV apps themselves, then it's over. On Google Chromecast,
Yeah.
then it's over. Like really, the main vessel for the Xbox gaming library, and it's already on Windows integrated, Windows 11. It's really doesn't really. There's no point to sort of doing the research and development to developing consoles anymore, because it just doesn't make sense, because their product is so, the pipeline is already burst open with all of these avenues to pay their end user products.
Yeah. And again, this is what's going to happen with Sony and Microsoft. Nintendo, who the fuck knows with them? Nintendo does what it does, but that's just the future, man. Hashtag deal with it, as Adam Orth said. Oh, man. All right. Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
Mob Hit says, and he always bringing up the rumors, he says, word on the street is that Best Buy is going to start phasing out physical games in the next few years.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But then again, what the hell are they going to sell?
What do they have? Like just TVs and shit, phones.
Well, I mean, to be
laptops.
honest, if you notice, a lot of stores are just selling the little cards. If you go to like a place like Target, right? They'll have the physical games, but they have a whole line of cards that have the codes on them you could buy. So you could do it that way.
Yeah.
You're not really buying an actual box with a disc inside of it. You're just buying a card with a code on it.
I was just thinking, Chris, when you're talking about the story about hard drives and disk drives and stuff, I remember for the last PC, who's this, Brett? Oh, shit, let's go.
Whoa.
Got a wild Brett.
A wild Brett appears. Right.
Can't tame me.
Yeah, there you are. What's going on, man?
What's up?
Oh, yeah, just real quick. So, yeah, I remember on the last PC I built, which was in 2016, Torrance, who helped me build it, insisted, Tony, get a disk drive. I'm like, Torrance, for what the hell do I need a disk drive? Like, trust me, get a disk drive. Like, you need it. You know how many times I used a disk drive on my last PC? 0 times. Fucking waste of money, So this computer that I got now, I didn't bother with that. It's like, it's stupid. Makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. And this is Torrance we're talking about. Remember,
yeah,
Torrance,
exactly.
Torrance gets the games. He puts it on his little foldable thing where he throws away the cases.
Yeah.
So
All right, man. Moving on to the next question. Where are we up to? Okay, next question by Mr. J. Ship. Phil Spencer took over as CEO of Xbox in 2014. From 2014 to now, Xbox has made tremendous leaps. With that said, it looks as though 2022 may be another difficult year for Xbox fans. My question is there any chance Phil Spencer, who has already made a name for himself, steps down as Xbox CEO for another position in the gaming industry in the near future? I don't think so. I think Xbox is doing pretty well under Phil Spencer. It's not at a point where it's like dire. It's like, here's the thing, and we've talked about this many times. Yes, 2022 is looking bad for Xbox, but it's looking bad for everybody. Like PlayStation's doing just marginally better, because it actually has some exclusives. But guess what? Those exclusives are also on PS4, right? But even that, they're struggling. Nintendo's struggling. This is a problem that's happening with everybody, and you can't really blame what's happening now exclusively at the head of Phil Spencer, especially with how well Xbox has been doing despite all the bullshit that's going on. The Xbox Series S was like the best-selling console. It beat out PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it beat out Switch though, but it outsold PlayStation, which is its direct rival.
MPDs, they did.
Oh, it did. So there you go. So there's absolutely no reason why Phil Spencer should need to step down when he's doing a pretty fucking good job, and Xbox is just on an upward trajectory. You think this guy's going to quit within like the next 2 or 3 years? After they had already just purchased Bethesda and Activision? No, he's staying there. Unless something catastrophic happens, I don't see that happening. He
hasn't shot a shot. He hasn't shot a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what you're asking. And, you're not necessarily... Well, he could pull a Reggie and after, things, in a few years... right the ship and then move on, and that would be his legacy. He'd be like, I'm the one that righted the ship for Xbox kind of thing. But he's been laying the foundation for so long that he's going to want to stay at the helm long enough to at least see the results of that.
Yeah.
And we haven't yet. So he's good, bad, or indifferent. He's in there for another few years until he does something, and then he either takes credit for writing Xbox or takes the golden parachute out.
Let me put something into perspective here. Phil Spencer has been in Microsoft for longer than I've been alive.
He's a ride or die guy, isn't he?
He's the only reason he's leaving is if Microsoft fires him because they're doing a shitty job, or if he's retiring. I think he's ride or die with Microsoft.
Well, again, if some unforeseen thing happens under his thing. I mean, other than that, he's probably going to stay there as long as he can,
Mm-hmm.
They should. They love him.
Huh?
I says, well, they should. They love him. He seems to enjoy his job. The fans generally seem to support him. It's not fucking revolutionary or anything like that, but let's be honest, you don't see much more support than you do for Uncle Phil.
Yeah, that's the other thing. People generally like the guy, and I know he's buddy with Nadella, right? Who runs who's the executive? Yeah, Microsoft. So it's Nadella is very happy with Phil Spencer at the moment, so they're not going to fire him.
Now who's going to attract him away from there?
Yeah.
What's he going to do? Go to Google?
Yeah,
exactly. Stadia.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna leave the Carpathia and go board the Titanic again?
Plus, who's gonna offer him more money? Their pocketbook is indefinite.
Well, the only
one that could, or Apple,
Well, the interesting thing is, Phil Spencer is the head of Xbox or the head of the gaming division at Microsoft. He can still move up in the company.
Exactly. Yeah, remember we've seen him move up already. Even during the Xbox, during his time at Xbox, he kept going up, and you're right, he can still keep going.
He can be the head of Azure or head of Windows or something. Who knows?
Give him a spot in the Illuminati.
Yeah, I don't know, man. all this stuff about Phil Spencer needing to step down, that's just fanboy stuff. I'm sorry. It really is.
That's silly.
Which fanboys is my question? That's what I'm like.
It's the PlayStation fanboys. It's the PlayStation fanboys.
Well, I mean, it's a little bit of column A and column B, especially with some of the Microsoft people who are angry about the digital age.
There are some that want Don Matrick back. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay, Brett, this is how simple their minds are. Because Don Matrick was there when the 360 was out, which was Xbox's most profitable console. Therefore, he is responsible for making Xbox what it is now. That's the funny thing.
The
hilarious thing is that when he took over, with that 360 era, he wasn't at the beginning. He didn't start that generation. He didn't start the trajectory. He only got credit for it because he was there when the dust settled.
Yeah, when things were good. Exactly. Yeah, but so that's how simple-minded some of these idiots are.
Yeah, and he automatically got the the credit for it. No, the real decision under his regime was TV, TV, TV. That was his idea. That's fully his shit.
Yeah, and remember when Phil Spencer came in, people were saying he's not doing shit with Xbox for the first 4 years. Of course, he was playing cleanup. Yeah. He's playing cleanup.
He's mopping up Don Matrix's messy ass shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not to point out the obvious, put a hat on a hat, but like to those who don't know, he's the one that went in and got them to start actually buying the companies needed to produce the games that they haven't produced yet.
Yeah, Phil Spencer. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So like before Phil Spencer, like Microsoft, you can't just look at the numbers and say, this is what they did, because if you look at the numbers, it's not like he's done a lot yet. But if it weren't for him, Microsoft would clearly have nothing in the works. They would probably be dead in the water, to be real honest. Because if Xbox didn't invest as heavily in gaming production as it did when it did or earlier, like if it had waited much longer, it would have been a huge thing. I mean, hell, it's damn near a huge thing right now. The only reason it's not is because the rest of the market isn't, showing them up right now.
Yeah. It's interesting. All right, let's move on here. Another question from Mr. J. Shep. All right. After the announcement of Kojima's partnership with Xbox, fanboys lost their ever-loving minds. Kojima had to post a statement to reassure PS fans of his relationship with PlayStation. We talked about this on the Thursday show. Mm-hmm. Recently, Square Enix announced Final Fantasy VII Remake Rebirth will be PS5 exclusive. This announcement was followed by a fanboy-created petition to boycott Square Enix. How much of a voice do fanboys have on social media? Do they impact the gaming industry in any way?
I don't think so.
No, not anymore.
Very slim.
I don't think. Here's the thing. Like, unless it's something that really affects public perception of something, they will not. It doesn't have any real effect on it. Especially if there was there's no found precedence for having that sort of belief. Like, oh, they're leaving us forever. Like, there's nothing founded behind it. It's just vapor.
I will say this though, the response that Kojima Productions provided after the announcement of the whole Xbox partnership, that was solely because of the fanboys.
It was.
Oh no, that was because of the fanboys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But any big decisions like them making games or making it multi-plat or making it exclusive, that has nothing to do with fanboyism, and that no weight on if anything.
It's so, and the sad part of it is that they have to actually explain themselves. It's like, no, it's not the fact that they're an independent company, that's literally, if somebody comes over with a blank check, no matter what side they're on, they're probably going to take it to keep their fucking doors open. So, if Microsoft is coming over with a check and saying, hey, listen, do what you want to do, don't you think Kojima would take that shit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, by the way, for all you PlayStation fans, like all this Kojima's, PlayStation, how many times has Kojima actually appeared on the Xbox stage? Because I will tell you, it's more times than he did on the PlayStation stage.
Forget that though. They have selective memories.
Yeah, he showed up for Revengeance, Metal Gear Solid 5. The first full trailer showed up at an Xbox show. He popped up on the stage multiple times.
Yeah, I feel like this is a case of giving the minority a loud voice or a platform. Basically, I think at this point there is enough platform for everybody to have a voice, which means that you're going to hear every stupid fucking idea, which means that you really, when you release a game and you're in production, I imagine somebody comes up, and if you're like the production lead, somebody comes up and they're like, yeah, man, so we have a bit of an issue. People are sending us toxic death threats. And like 10 years ago, the reaction would be like, oh God. Now the reaction is, well, how many? Right? Like, as long as it's under a certain threshold of death threats, then we're probably doing well.
Yeah. Here's the thing with fanboy chatter. These people see this, obviously. I'm talking about big guys like Phil Spencer. They see this stuff, obviously, because they're on Twitter, right? But, yeah, you're right. Generally, it doesn't really affect top-level decisions, but it will affect social media type of things. You know what I'm saying? Like again, like the Kojima thing, him having to or the studio having to say that statement. So they do have a impact in that way, but the real big decisions, not really. You know, they're not listening to clowns who are on Twitter Spaces for 9 hours yelling and cursing up a storm.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they don't listen to those clowns, but you know, they do keep an eye out for things for sure.
Oh no, yeah, you need to keep an eye on rumors and nip that shit in the bud. I think responding to rumors and letting that affect the trajectory of your decisions are two very different things.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Real quick, Kishak, he asked us, do you think Kojima's allowed to use the Decima engine for Xbox? We discussed this on Thursday show. It's a good question because it is a good question. It's a Sony developed engine. We don't know. It's a great question. I don't know.
I suspect it'll be something like Unreal.
Yeah, that's what we said on the Thursday show. We said he's probably going to use Unreal just to, you know, not start over again for the third time, you know, because he had the Fox engine. Then Decima engine was already it was already there. Let me rejigger a little bit. This time he's trying to go. I'm going to go with Unreal and fuck this shit. You know,
as I remember, the Unreal that was the job description for a lot of the hiring that they're going to be doing soon.
Yeah,
there was Unreal stuff in there. So
go for Kojima Productions. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So that's what I think. Because I this is just what I think. I don't think you use the Decima engine on Xbox. I doubt that. So that's,
I don't think it's not possible.
It's not possible, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, I don't think it's likely. No. I'll say that because I don't want to say yes or no. I just don't see it likely. You know, or it'd be very difficult.
I don't think anything like I think unless Guerrilla Games is that sort of studio where they can license out their things, but I don't think they can do that. But you know,
it's up to Sony.
It's up to Sony.
It's up to Sony. It's like if Sony wants that to happen, but then that opens up a can of worms too. It's like, well, wait a minute, if the Decima engine can run on there. Even though it should be able to. Well, it's the same shit they got.
Think about it. The Decima engine is already running on PC as it is.
It's already running on a PC, so it should definitely be able to run on an Xbox.
My PC? Yeah.
Real quick, let me ask, like, do you think that PlayStation fans have a strong sense of either what they want or what they're afraid of? Because I'm not really seeing...
In general, fanboys don't know what they want. Let's just be honest here. They don't know
what they want.
Well, it also doesn't seem like they really know exactly what they're afraid of. Like, is he going to use this engine that nobody's used yet that he was going to use before, but has no production or bearing on any of us because it was never actually released? Like, what is it they're looking for? Are they just jumping at shadows?
It's that. But again, it's more of, these are my toys. I don't want you to play with them. That's that mentality. The way they see it, Decima engine, it's our engine. It's our engine. He dare not take it to the enemy. That's how they see things. You know?
Yeah.
These guys are absolutely insane. They're all crazy. You know? And this is why the larger gaming community doesn't listen to them, because they're crazy. But the problem is, they take up so much space on Twitter, at least volume-wise. You know? It's bad.
I'll tell you what I think is the people who are fucking platforming these assholes for internet clicks.
Wait, say that again.
The people that are platforming these people for internet clicks, like the people who made it a story. And don't get me wrong, it is ridiculous that it happened, but they made it a story that people tried to make a petition to cancel Kojima's new game.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yes, that's a small group of angry extremist nerds, right? But we're going to make that into news because it's ridiculous, because we're all going to click on it. Now, you know, we all of a sudden think like, oh, there's a lot of people who just want to cancel this game because they're angry, and if it fans the Flame Wars, man.
Oh, you mean kind of like a certain publication taking 2 tweets from 2 gaming journalists and turning into a whole storm after fucking idiots started making videos about them? Huh? Something like that?
That's exactly what I mean.
It's insane, man. No, you're right. That, you know, they're culpable in it too. You know, but we're not going to name any names here. If there's this whole throwdown, we already know.
Didn't we already name them on that episode, on the previous episode?
Maybe we did, but you know, go listen to it and you'll find out. It's me like that.
Suss it out, man.
Yeah, they're smart. Adam, what's he sending now? Yo, get on the show, man. Happy Father's Day. All right, yeah, we'll get to Father's Day shit in a bit. All right,
He got. It's probably from his kids.
yeah. Oh, speaking about it, let's go. Questions. The Brooklyn Bear, Joey Pong. Oh, wait, Joey, if you're listening, man, shout out to you, brother. I know things could get rough. Speaking about social media, he tweeted out I need to get off of social media for a bit. He's just not, because he's, Joey kind of gets depressed sometimes and stuff. And seeing that shit, if you have depression, you go on social media, it is not going to make that shit better. So
it's not.
My brother, if you're listening, take your time, relax, go watch Moon Knight, something you love, and just chill. Don't let that bullshit get to you, man.
Yeah, remember, the real world is much nicer and less terrible than the internet really makes it seem.
The real world is much nicer when you can't hear everybody's internal thoughts written on the internet.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that. It's not even that. It's you want to take 5 people who are really pissed in Los Angeles and shove them into your head to make it sound like they're the only people around, kind of thing. Like, dude, it's if you go on the internet, you get the impression that these people hate these people, and these people hate these people, and everybody's mad about this and this, that, and the other. And then you go out there and you find out 90% of the people are real people that aren't extremists on one end. They have a mix of complicated beliefs, and for the most part, they don't want to crucify you for whatever you think.
Yeah.
Very few people want to choke you out and firebomb your house face to face.
It's the internet can be a vessel for just unfiltered, adulterated, behavior. Yep. And even if you can be the most polite person in real life, you can be the most educated and well-mannered person in real life, but when it comes to the internet, a lot of those filters, a lot of those gloves, a lot of those masks are seemingly off. So we kind of even from the worst people, we get even from the best people, we get the worst of them in the internet.
Yeah, if something comes out, man, I tell you, social media does something to you, man. I felt it in myself. You just get angrier, But a lot of people don't recognize that, It's insane. It's fucking crazy with these platforms. But anyway, let's get to the questions. Okay, Father's Day question. Who do you guys feel is the worst video game dad? Also, happy Father's Day to the Papas on Throwdown. That's Chris and Adam.
Adam.
Yeah. Okay. So, who's the worst video game dad? Hey Hachi, right? This motherfucker.
Hey Hachi.
Oh my god, he's pretty bad.
It's the first one I think of, just throwing his son off a mountain and shit.
And then his
get in the volcano.
And then his son throws him off over a mountain.
Yeah.
It's back and forth.
See, people will be tempted to say, Kratos, no, he tries. He fucks up, but he tries.
Yeah, no, he might be a bad person. I mean, he was a soldier, though, so it's it's hard to, judge him, Kratos is evil.
He has to learn. He has to learn to be, a good father.
Quick question.
Yeah.
In rating Kratos as a father, are we remembering or forgetting his first kids?
No, I'm talking about all the kids. No,
I know. I'm just saying, when you're Kratos is bad dad, you're oh, Kratos he's not a bad dad.
Yeah, I know.
He did murder his other kid.
Listen. He murdered her, but he still loved her.
He was tricked into murdering.
He was tricked. Yeah.
I actually want to put forth God of War as the game, but Zeus is the dad. Zeus is a terrible dad.
Oh yeah, he's terrible.
Zeus is notorious.
Well, all the gods are terrible. You could say Kratos is a terrible dad. This fucking kid's. What they strapped a temple to his back and put him in darkness.
It's you know what it is? It's the cycle of abuse, man. Kronos wasn't Zeus's dad?
Yeah.
So there you go. So
from my dad,
he was horrible to his son, and he's horrible.
To his sons.
Kronos was tied up in a wall in his shaft somewhere in God of War, right?
No, he's crawling around with Pandora's temple on his back.
Yeah, they threw him into a desert, and he's got the Pandora's temple on his back.
So it's diminishing returns. So when Atreus is old and his kids are bitching at him, he'll be like, "You have no idea what my dad did to me."
Yeah, well, remember who Atreus is going to grow up to be. So,
yes, he's gonna go to the Time Variant Authority.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Oh.
By the way, Mob Hits mentioned Goku. He definitely is.
He's not a video game father. I mean, he's a video game, but
he's in a video game.
Anime father.
Yeah, let's keep it to
the anime in general has a serious
horrible
problem
fathers. Look at Shinji's dad.
Yeah, Shinji's dad is the worst dad in history.
Oh.
But
since we're gonna
let's
tangent.
Let's keep it to video games though, because we can go off forever about this.
You know what? For a cutesy game, the Katamari games, the King of the Cosmos is the shitty father.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy destroys the stars, and he's like, "Hey, get your ass down to Earth and roll up some stars because I fucked up the sky."
He's lighting that shit on fire, and still he has the audacity to judge the pile of trash that you rolled together.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
he light it on fire, man.
It's like, yo, if you didn't get drunk and blow up the sky, I wouldn't have to do this.
Yeah, who else are horrible gaming fathers?
Big Boss.
But he wasn't a father on purpose. That wasn't his choice.
Yeah, he didn't do it. Yeah, he didn't essentially raise those kids. Kind of.
I mean, they took his DNA and made clones.
They made clones of him. Yeah. Comstock from BioShock.
Was that Infinite?
That was Infinite. Yeah,
BioShock Infinite. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because he went in time to what do you do?
Well, he was you, wasn't he?
Yes,
he was you. But I forgot who. And what's her name? Elizabeth, right? Was the
yeah. Elizabeth was his daughter from another dimension.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he did to her, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he was.
Well, number one, it was his fault that she died, and then he pulled one version of her from an alternate dimension and put her in a giant cage that was protected by a robot.
Yeah, that's not a bad. That's not a good father right there.
But Booker DeWitt, granted, he is essentially another version of that, trying to get his, that he's also pretty much Comstock, but not.
I mean, Comstock's worse than Booker.
Oh no, he totally is.
Yeah, he totally is. Yeah. But Mob goes, do you consider Mike Hagler a bad father? No, he beat up half the city to get his daughter back.
I mean, that's a great father. That's a good
exactly.
Guy. Hit the streets and beat the shit out of everybody.
I'm getting my
That's a great
back.
father. Yeah.
Okay, now let me ask: have any of you guys beaten Hades?
No,
I didn't even play Hades.
I haven't played an hour. I was done with that game.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
you could still name it. It's not like
I was gonna ask. Okay, so I'm gonna spoilers. 10-second countdown for anybody that want to hear about the ending of Hades. Okay, so in the end of the game, you beat Hades and you escape Hades, but it's a really weird game in the sense that you have to beat it like 12 times to get the true, quote unquote, true ending. Because when you break out of Hades, you meet your mom and realize that because you're born of Hades, you die when you try and go on the surface. So your father was kind of trying to stop you from going onto the surface with this dream, only to find out that you're going to die. And that's why he's been trying to keep you down there the whole time. And eventually he kind of like falls back in love with the mom, and they kind of come to an agreement, or an agreement where he's happy to live in Hades. But I didn't know whether like is keeping him, like, he's a terrible dad on the surface, but at the end he's kind of just trying to keep him from utter disappointment in the worst way possible. Still bad parenting the year award.
I mean, he could have just told him, said, "Hey,
yeah, that's why I'm like I'm confused." I'm not sure.
Why the whole ruse? Like, oh yeah, you could do anything. Nah, you can't really do anything. You can't leave this place because it'll be horrible for you. You'll die.
What about the dad from Elden Ring that let it, the was it a king or something of the castle, and was defending it and let her daughter just chill on the side of the road and end up getting killed?
Oh yeah, Castle Morn, the Castle.
Well, he does go on to become the Revenger, so.
Yeah, but all he does is it's like you beat his ass, like he attacks you for no reason. I'm like, well, that was pointless.
Well, no, he killed. There's a lot of dead people in that room.
Yes,
when you find him.
Yeah.
So he went all like Rorschach on him. So
I will enter Solidus Snake. He was essentially dad. What's his face?
He's Jack's dad.
Yeah. Raiden's adopted father, who essentially made him into a child soldier and brainwashed him.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, I got one. Yeah, and that's not even an obvious one. Ash Ketchum's dad.
Oh yeah, you don't even see him.
Yeah, because you never even hear about that motherfucker.
Yeah, that dude was absent.
He went out for cigarettes a while ago.
He's like, hey, honey, I'm gonna go get me some Pokemon. See you later.
All right, man.
That's an interesting thing about like in in anime or even in a lot of animated shows. Single parents. Like Ash is
Yes.
only with
Yeah.
his mom. You never see his dad. There's a bunch of anime that's like that, where it's just like it's either that, like a Full Metal Alchemist. Their father was a deadbeat. you know.
There's a lot of bad dads in Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know.
No,
Anyway,
we don't talk about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's move on to the next question. It's the flip of this. Who's the best video game father? This is from Toon Medic, by the way.
Oh, okay. Best video game father.
That's a lot. I'm gonna throw Harry Mason in there. Anybody who would walk through a living nightmare of a city to find their daughter after all the shit he went through, and then only to like not get her back. Like all the shit in Silent Hill that he had to go through.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, and again, we already brought him up. Mike Hagar, great father.
Mike Hagar.
You know.
John Marston.
But yeah, he is. It's a good father. You know, he wasn't a great father, but he tried.
I tried to teach my kid the good things in life.
He tried. Yeah.
Well, he defended his family. He tried to take on the entire feds at
Yeah,
the
he
end
did.
of that game. Right?
Yeah. Ethan Winters. You know, Jason. You know.
Oh no,
Ethan is Resident
Ethan
Evil.
Mars.
Oh,
That's
who's
Ethan Mars.
Ethan
Ethan
Mars.
Winters
Mars,
is
yeah.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, he's a good father. He tried.
Ethan
You know.
Mars would be worst dad because you remember
Because he lost him.
Yeah, because he lost him in the thing, even despite his wife saying, "No, don't let him go there."
That is true. Okay, you know what? He's a bad father.
And,
But
and
yeah, it goes in this one.
yeah, so he's kind of a bad.
But Ethan
dad.
Winters would go up in the best dads.
Does Dr. Light count? Because he's
Dr.
pretty.
Light?
Boy, he could. You could put him in both categories somehow.
Best
that is
and worst
true.
dad.
That is true. You know. Who else? Ethan Winters. He tried.
I think you have to
went
throw
for best
Joel
and
in
worst dad.
there.
Yeah, Joel. I don't know.
Joel's best.
I think
Best-
I look at Last of Us 1. And
Yeah.
I ignore 2. I don't care what anybody says.
You
I
know
didn't
what?
even play that game.
Yeah, I would
But
say
Joel was great.
Yeah, I would say Joel's a good father because because he cared about his daughter when she died. He became an asshole afterwards, but
Right.
that version of him, right, literally before the actual main game starts. Yeah, it was a good father.
Best and worst, you from Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jin's dad from what's it called? Ghost of Tsushima.
Jin Sakai's dad. Yeah, he's a pretty bad dad, isn't he?
Oh, no, he's
adopted
good dad.
father.
No, he's a good dad.
What,
no,
you mean his uncle?
We're talking
No,
about
I mean
good dads.
his actual dad that sacrificed his life.
his actual dad was good.
Oh, his actual dad was a
Yeah,
bad.
we're talking about good fathers, not good fathers.
Yeah, he was a
Good
good
father.
father, but he wasn't a good person, I guess. Because
Whatever.
what the stuff he did on
We're
that
not asking
Monkey
about that,
Island.
Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, he did some horrible stuff on the Monkey Island DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Oh.
did.
Good dad, Big Daddy.
That is true. Very
Yeah,
protective.
he's a good dad.
Yeah, very protective.
How about Lee? How about Lee from Walking Dead, the series?
That's true,
yeah,
yeah.
he's good. Yeah, he's
He
good.
was good to
Good adopted
Clementine.
father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we already discuss which one John Marston is?
We said he's
He's a good-
generally a good
he's a
father.
good
He's a good
father.
father.
Okay.
He's a good dad.
He's not a he may not be the best father, but he's good.
No, I mean
He
yeah.
tried, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
His boy hated him for a little bit, but he was trying. He was trying. Again, once you have Heihachi in the mix, it's hard to top that.
Yeah, for bad father.
Yeah,
Star Lord's dad. Theoretically, he's a video game
Yeah.
character.
yeah, he's a video game character.
Well,
yeah.
no, he's a bad dad. Star Lord's dad would be a bad dad.
Well, I mean, if you just look at the Spider-Man game, Norman Osborn, I mean, shit. Look at all this fucked up shit he caused in New York.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean,
The disease, what was it called? Devil's something, and Mr. Negative was his fault. Like everything, all of that shit was to just try to save Harry. So you could say, oh, he was a good father. It's like, yeah, but he's a shitty person.
Yeah.
He's also a bad dad.
And you know what I'll say? Kratos is a good father, even though he killed his daughter. But he was tricked into it.
Well, I mean,
he was brainwashed.
Yeah.
He was a good he's a good and a bad dad. Like
Yeah.
the trauma of him being tricked to kill his wife and daughter. Yeah, that would kind of fuck you up.
Yeah.
How about
he killed
Barrett?
his father.
Hold on. Go ahead.
About Barrett?
Barrett, yeah, he's a good father. With her.
Yeah, I'm a good dad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like Brooklyn Bear. By the way, he's joining us, Mr. Brooklyn Bear, Joey
Whoa, what's
Polanco.
up?
Yo.
He's very grateful for what we said to him. Yeah, man, you'll be all right, brother. You'll be all right.
Yeah, man, you'll be good.
Fuck Twitter. Don't go on and stay off for a week.
The internet could be a shitty ass place.
Yeah. By the way, but anyway, I like his answer. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say, man, one thing I want you to keep in mind is the cool thing about being adult is that you can curate your own life, right? Nothing has to be in your existence that you don't like in your existence. So take full advantage of that and fucking cut out the cancer, man. Live your best life.
There you go. Perfect. Anyway, I like his answer. He goes, Kiryu from Yakuza. That guy had an orphanage. Great dad. you know?
Yeah, his dad spilled over into other kids.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm raising all your kids right now.
But I mean, if you think of like it's sort of like he's using his the horrible him being a Yakuza to essentially make other people's lives better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's just a wait. Oh, I thought you were talking about Kiryu. Doesn't he have a orphanage?
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah. Who are you guys talking about then?
No, I'm saying isn't he the main Yakuza guy?
Yeah, he is. He ran an orphanage.
I'm not saying he's a bad dad.
Yeah, he is.
No, but I'm saying like he had a shitty life, but
Yeah.
he's sort of making up for it by having this orphanage.
Yeah. Oh, he's talking about Kiryu's dad. I don't know Kiryu's dad. I don't know. So Kiryu ran.
Kiryu's dad. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kiryu ran an orphanage in Yakuza 3. Yes, he did, and the kids love him.
But I mean, if he did have a bad father, he could be making up for that factor and essentially not passing bad fathership over to the new generation.
See, Joey, I knew you were talking about. Logic Wins is trying to confuse me. All right. Moving on here. Also from Toon Medic, who's Michael Santiago, good friend of Throwdown. He goes, I grew up playing video games with my dad. Do any of you have any fond memories gaming with your fathers?
Yeah, like my dad, I think my dad is also a little bit of a younger generation, so he was still into all video games and stuff. Like he owned an Atari back in the day, and when during the PlayStation times, he used to play with us and me and my brother with in fighting games and stuff like that. He used to like Eddie Goro in Tekken. That was his favorite character because he did the capoeira stuff. Yeah, he liked those games. He played Street Fighter with us and all that stuff. But I think once the game started getting more complicated, he's like, hey, I don't want to play this anymore. But he did play with us for a while, and yeah.
Yeah, I know Adam would probably have some stories, right?
His memories are with his dad going to the arcade. So he even mentioned it last, I think maybe last episode. He mentioned about going to the arcade. He had an allowance every, weekend or weekend. He would go over to like his with his dad to the arcade out in like in Chinatown. You go to Chinatown Fair or the one on Times Square and just play some games and stuff. So his dad used to play with him and stuff like that during that. And his dad also used to but he worked at a electronics store down on Delancey Street, and they always used to have all the new games over there. So whenever Christmas time or any of that stuff would come along, he would get all the cool new games because his dad used to sell those things at the store.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody else?
Play games with my dad all the time.
Oh yeah, Nice.
Yeah, he was. My dad. I'm actually. I like to say I'm a second generation gamer. My dad and his buddies used to play on the Atari before I was even actually born. I was told stories about how they would play Missile Command or something like that and get a high score and then call each other. And so you just get a call at like 2 a.m. You pick up the phone and just hear like 200,950 and then click, hang up. And so they just go back and forth, one-upping each other over the phone lines with their high scores. It was this weird proto-internet thing. It was kind of fun. He's the one that bought me my first NES. I got an NES when I was 3. I couldn't even read yet, but he instilled that shit in me when I was young, and he played all the way up through Super Nintendo. After Super Nintendo, he said the buttons got just got all a little complex for him, and he kind of tapped out. Yeah, man, I have great memories of playing Nintendo with my dad.
Mob Hits, shout out to you, brother, for the bits. I don't have any stories here because my dad was too drunk to do anything with us back in the day, so no stories for me, you know. Chris Collins, got anything?
Oh no, my dad didn't play video games.
Yeah. What about you, Carlos? Carlos, are you around? Oh, he's muted. All right, he is forfeited. Ejected. All right.
He's like, no.
Moving on here to Meke, who's also been joining us tonight as Blitz. So, his first question is: has there been a time when you have found your taste in or interest in gaming has changed? Maybe it was being a hardcore console gamer to becoming a PC master racer, or you were a ride or die multiplayer gamer turned single player hermit. What brought about the change? So this, I guess he's talking about like a drastic change to make it. Is that what you mean? Anyway,
he said yes.
I think so.
Yeah. Anyway, you guys take it where you want.
It's weird. Like I can't say that my tastes in games have changed very much, but what games I purchase has changed because of time. You know, I haven't actually played a Japanese RPG in a very, very long time. And that is all just because my life got a lot busier. I feel like the last JRPG I had ever played was Dragon Quest VIII. Oh, no, excuse me, Rogue Galaxy, but I finished Dragon Quest VIII. So that's like, mid-2000s I haven't played like any Final Fantasy games. I just haven't been able to devote the time to one of those games in a long time.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar to you actually, in that respect. Like, also, but it's also because of my job. I've gone more towards favoring or liking games that are just kind of more to the point. Or let me rephrase that. I appreciate games like that more because of the fact that I have to play these 1,000-hour games all the goddamn time. Got tired of them, So when I get something that's like, oh, I could beat this in a weekend. This is great. I want more games like this. But obviously, if you have something special like Elden Ring come around, it makes me go, oh, this is why I love these type of games in the first place. Is giant, massive games,
But it's funny. Like I feel like for Elden Ring, it's a little bit of a different animal because you don't need to endure it alone.
Yeah, no, that's also true, even though I did both. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the choice is there. But no, generally speaking, I would say my taste in gaming hasn't changed. Like, if any changes that have happened have been gradual, like with RPGs, I was not into RPGs back in the day. Then I got into it.
When we were young, you hated RPGs.
Yeah, I hated them. I think that's the biggest fundamental change I had, liking RPGs. But other than that, I still generally like the same games that I did back when I was a kid. It's just the kind of games
fighting games you have lost patience with.
I've fallen out of favor. But again, that's not a sudden thing. It's been a gradual thing. I've never had like a sudden shift. But with fighting games, it's like I still have the love for them. It's just the fighting games they make now are not for me anymore, or the way fighting games are no longer for me. I want to buy a fighting game that's complete in and of its own. I don't like knowing that there's going to be 6 seasons and all this other shit. It's like it takes the fun out of it. So fighting games have lost me. If they still made the fighting games I used to like, then I'd probably still be in there. But that the genre is different now.
Is it just because of the continuing seasons and whatnot?
That's part of it. Also, just the overall catering to the FGC crowd. It used to be that fighting games were just made for everybody. Now they're just for these hardcore dudes. I'm like, I'm not one of those guys. I just want to go in there and just beat up my buddies real quick or whatever. And not like have to learn calculus and shit to get every single little thing to try to fight these guys. It's like you're taking the fun out of it. So it's not just the season pass. It's a couple other factors. And also, like I said, I just don't have the time to devote to a single game like that. If you want to play a fighting game competently these days, you need to effectively devote your entire life to just that game. I can't do that, So, so definitely my job and lifestyle has, just like you, man, has affected the way I play games now, But even that was a gradual thing too. Again, remember, like before I got started writing about games, I got 48 platinums in 2 years. That's basically 22 platinums a month. After that, it's slow as shit, Anyway, has anybody else had any like changes in their gaming behavior?
Yeah, I used to play a lot in driving games. Like when I was younger too, like I had like on NES, I played Rad Racer. On Genesis, I had Outrun. I used to go to the arcade and play Outrun. Somewhere, probably in my mom's place, I have the original box for Need for Speed. That's what Road and Track sponsored the game. It said Road and Track presents Need for Speed. I had the original game. I played all of the Need for Speeds up until I think
PlayStation 2 era. I would say,
Hot
right?
Pursuit. I think Hot Pursuit was
Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit,
right. Yeah, and then I played the first couple of Gran Turismos, and then I just fell off. I just got tired of it. The complexity of Gran Turismo was like what threw me off. I hated getting the licenses. I hated modding the cars. I didn't want to think about that shit. That's why I like Need for Speed. But even that, I got tired of it because it was all about racing. They added more tuning into it. I'm like, I don't want that shit. I just want to race and have fun. Like the old days, like some of the games offered that. That's why I like that Horizon Chase Turbo, because that was like old Top Gear. You just choose your car and you do one upgrade and you're good. You're golden. You just play. But yeah, I don't play racing games anymore for the most part.
First off, shout out to Fergus Mills.
You already know.
Yeah, like I'm kind of not. For me, it wasn't racing games, even though I did play a lot of it. I mean, I've always been a well-rounded gamer, but there was a significant portion of my gaming history where I was more of a dude bro gamer, sort of aligned with Adam. I would play all the Call of Duties, all the Halos, all the Maddens, all the FIFAs, even the NCAA games. And I would play them all the time, obsess about kill to death ratios in Call of Duty, play NBA 2K, and I just simply don't do any of that anymore. Call of Duty is probably the only thing that I still kind of do, but that's just the campaign for the most part. I hardly ever even touch multiplayer, but that just changed mostly because of the people I used to play with back in the day. It used to be sort of like a little community, but I think that's sort of been lost, and I've been doing more solo stuff, solo gaming, like
I don't think it's been
games.
I don't think it's been lost as much as it's been lost to our age group. I'm willing to squat up with you.
Oh no, I'm saying the group that I used to play with kind of sort of disbanded.
Oh, I thought you meant that more in like the sense of like the group that we all play. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like there are still, I hate to say it like this, there are still young people who are experiencing the same thing that we went through.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And we even see it. I love like that joy still isn't lost in me, because I mean, you guys can tell every time we play a multiplayer game that's fun, Monster Hunter or GTA or Back for Blood. Like I always enjoy those games, especially I like the community aspect, playing with my buddies and having fun. It's always something that I always appreciate. But it's it's not something that's as common as it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, well, who knows? Maybe in 10 years from now, you'll like link up with all those same guys, just like Adam did. That's why Adam wasn't on Thursday, by the way. Well, he met up with all his buddies from like 20 years ago, and they just started gaming.
It wasn't like 20. It wasn't like 20. It maybe it might have been 20. I don't know.
It was a long time, my point is, I'm not being exact with the 20, obviously, but I'm saying dudes that he played more than a decade ago, they all linked up together and just went back at it like they used to,
It's just, it all just happened because he essentially logged back on the Xbox again.
Yeah, because all his old buddies were still on Xbox. He's the one that left.
I don't know. I logged on. Dutch started telling me about my buddies that were on, and we linked up. Manny, you remember Gabe?
I actually don't remember Gabe.
See, the thing is, like with me, I don't have anything like that because like my playing buddy, he's right there. That's him. There's Manny. That's the guy I used to play with. I never played. We're old. We didn't have online growing
And now they're worst enemies.
Yeah.
Well, hey, don't blame it on me being old. It's because you're a hermit who doesn't like multiplayer games.
This is true.
We're not far from the same age, and motherfucker, I have been playing online games since they fucking came out.
Well, that's my point. I didn't play my first online game until 2008 in Metal Gear Solid 4 online, and I was just like, and it's funny how every online game I played, and not everyone, but the competitive ones have all been exactly the same as that. Motherfuckers running around shooting each other. I'm like, okay, this is dumb.
It was it was a real disappointment because it was like everybody was just blowing each other away. I'm like, this is not Metal Gear.
Yeah, that was a
Where's
bad
the
experience.
Sneaking? Oh no, you can sneak.
You can.
You get your head blown off.
Yeah, you can. You know.
Shout out to Richard Bailey Jr. by the way in the chat.
You already know, Rich, what's going on, man.
Yo.
But anyway, Manny and I have never been multiplayer guys like that, so that hasn't changed either.
Never been much of a multiplayer, but here's the thing: like couch co-op.
Oh hell yeah, all day, every day we used to do that shit after school.
Yeah, like either definitely like right now it's like summer. I would be if it was then I'd be riding my bike all the way up to Tony's place.
Exactly, doing it up like we used to. Have Mike over,
Yeah.
But Tony, did you say you didn't play your first multiplayer game until 2008?
Yeah, same with Manny. Really,
Yeah.
Fuck, we have wildly different experiences.
It took Kojima to make you guys play a multiplayer game?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, I mean, like I think I did play Metal Gear on the other one.
Oh, you did. You did play it. Yeah.
For like 2 seconds and then I didn't like it because I had the what do they call it, the router? What do they call? No, the modem. I had the modem for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And I did play it, but I was like, it really wasn't my thing. I feel like we also, because I guess sort of the consoles that we're playing with, we just really didn't do it. And I know, what was it, Fantasy Star Online?
Oh, that pissed me the fuck off when that came out. Yeah,
on Dreamcast, and we didn't.
No, we didn't mess with that. I was mad that it was online. I was like, why is this online? I want a regular fucking game.
I want to play an actual
then
Fantasy
I was against
Star
it.
game.
I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? But no, the real first game I played was Metal Gear Solid 4 online 2008. First experience with online, and that informed my online experience as a whole. At least with competitive multiplayer. Just motherfuckers. It doesn't matter if it's Call of Duty, Metal Gear, Overwatch, whatever. Dudes in a closed off space running around shooting each other. That's all online is.
And the other game that I played online. This is because Adam was playing it. Two. I played Freedom Force, which was like the game where you had like superheroes and stuff in it, which was like originally Diablo. But I only played those for a very short amount of time. Like I didn't like once I sort of got the once I got the gist of it, I was like, I kind of don't want to keep diving back into this. I get a little bored of the sort of repetition of just chopping things.
Exactly.
And no. I mean, granted, there is a goal, and then the other thing that bugged me about Diablo is that all the dungeons were all randomly generated.
Holy shit! And you just made me realize. Actually, I'm going to ask it this way, Tony.
Yeah.
Do you want to guess when my first multiplayer game was?
Probably 1999 or something.
Well, online multiplayer game.
Yeah, online multiplayer.
Clarify.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Literally when it started, basically.
Yeah. To clarify, I played my first online game in the sense of playing a game over the internet in probably 1996.
Yeah, that's about
right. That's about when a lot of the country got online.
Yeah. Well, it was the first Command and Conquer, and I played internet games with my buddy down the street. And then in 98 or 97, somewhere around there, they launched Ultima Online, which was essentially the first MMO.
Interesting.
Yeah.
StarCraft's the first game that I played online, but I never had at that time. I didn't even have a computer, so I would play either my friend's house or
They had BattleNet though, didn't they? Because I remember Diablo had BattleNet, but for Command and Conquer, you literally had to call their phone number through your computer or some shit. It was real stupid.
StarCraft had BattleNet, yeah.
Yeah, so that was. That's why I say, like, I'm not sure if I count Command and Conquer because, like, yeah, you could hook up over the internet if you knew each other's IP addresses, but it wasn't until BattleNet came along and did matchmaking with StarCraft and Diablo that, you know, what we would recognize as online multiplayer first came around.
There was this service for Doom. I remember in '92, you said there was this thing you could run, and then play Doom and dial into it, and you could play with 4 people. So that was the first time I ever experienced multiplayer.
Yeah. All right. Let's move
Anyway,
on.
I was bringing that up because I just wanted to say, like, I've become a filthy casual.
Okay. Okay.
Because all of my friends became adults. I don't got to squad as much anymore. So I don't got to squad as much anymore. And they release, like, you know, a third or a quarter of the single player games they did. So, like, it's just not an opportunity, man.
Yeah, man.
And we also don't have as even for us, even if we haven't changed as much as our friends have, we still don't have as much time as we used to.
Dude, I say that. I was gonna say that, but Elden Ring changed my mind. I went
the time. See,
I went hard on Elden Ring, and I went hardcore on Elden Ring, man. I made that game my bitch. It was awesome. Eventually, I found myself the inverse to what all the other games were, in the sense that, like, I really started to sweat every time I had to help people because the game was just fun. Like, you got to the point where you're like, I could kill this boss with my eyes closed. Like, you know, I'm in the church of let me solo him. Like, eventually, after a while, you just start whooping the shit out of literally everything. But then somebody else comes into the mix, and somebody else comes into the mix, and now you got a 3-man squad, and the guy's all powered up and basically rabid now, and immediately murders one of the squad of 3, and you're left there trying to carry the host on your own. But yeah, man, just everything from how competitive I got, how deep I got into the multiplayer, how much I preyed on the blood of noobs, how much I found every fucking weapon. Like, no matter what way you slice it, I hardcored the shit out of that. There was one thing I didn't do. So, I mean, if you look at it like, oh, well, were you doing a lot of competitive PvP? Did that. Did I do a lot of completionist shit? Did that. Did you do a lot of co-op multiplayer? Did that. Do a lot of item collecting? Did that. Like, did all of it. And quickly. So I kind of, until then I would have thought the same thing, and I'm not sure if any of you guys agree, but, like, Elden Ring showed me I could still be hardcore when I want to.
Yeah, no, Elden Ring showed me that I have to just embrace my new lifestyle because it took me 2 months to beat the game. Like, I only put 60 hours into this shit, you know? But over 2 months, that's a long time. You know, I could only really go ham during the weekends.
You beat it 60 hours?
Yeah, about 6.
My clock is at 200.
Yeah, it's about like 60 hours or so. I'll have to check, but yeah, I didn't play that much. Like, I was very focused, but like during the week, I could only play maybe 1 hour a night. I was, you know, because when I get home from work, I'm fucking done. I don't want to do anything, you know? I remember.
you know.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you know how I finally beat the game? I was like, I'm going to work from home this entire week. So after work at 5, then I start playing. Then I go crazy, you know, because when I get home, like at usually 6:37, I'm like, oh, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Years ago, when I was still doing the commute, like you did, I mean, I was still going full force. But then again, that was me. Like,
you were young,
20,
you know.
Yeah, that was me 20 years ago or so. You know, come home and play kill out some games, and also not to mention games back then were nearly as long. They
are now. Exactly. That's
the
the
RPGs were the time sink. Now every game is the time
sink. Every game, that's right. All right, man. Let's move on. We still got more questions here. All right. Now that the subscription wars have begun in the U.S. at least, thanks to the new PlayStation Plus launching, I'd be interested to hear the crew have an actual discussion over the pluses and minuses of each service and what they currently bring, or which currently has the best value. We don't know what the future will bring, so it's best to focus on what we have now. So yeah, he's talking about Xbox Game Pass and PS Now, right?
Are you sure? You sure it doesn't wonder?
Whatever. Super Plus, whatever.
Super Plus, whatever the fuck it's called.
Are you sure he's not wondering about Nintendo Switch Online and whether that brings up the best value?
Nah. I mean,
I think we all know the answer to that.
Yeah, but I guess in all fairness, we should discuss it. You know,
okay, so
it's trash. So let's talk about the other ones.
Yep, hot garbage.
You know, again, this is what I've said, right? It's a weird thing because and this is just my opinion. I hate I have to say that, but okay, I think PlayStation has the better catalog of games, but Xbox gives you games on day one, so they kind of weirdly even each other out, you know. But both services for me are not worth it. I'm sticking with the normal PlayStation because I'm like I don't want to play extra to play these old games, and I unsubscribe from Game Pass as Twitter already knows for the same fact. I'm not trying to pay for these old games, you know. So for me, they're both the same, you know. But I don't know, man. For me. Well, think about it, Brett. I'm not subscribing to the new tier of PlayStation, and I unsubscribe from Game Pass for the same exact reason. So for me, they are the same in that respect. You know?
I mean, I get practically. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like people really give a lot more weight to retro games than they should. Because that's one of the big differences is, you know, there's a pretty expansive library of past retro PlayStation games. Here's the thing. I don't know anybody who plays those. I don't play those. Other than Adam, I don't know that really any of you guys go back and spend any significant amount of time playing those.
Adam's the only one, yeah.
Nobody else in my social circle does.
I've always been the sort of one and done. Once I've already completed the game, you know, then that's it. I don't usually go back unless there's a specific reason. Like I used to go back and play the original Metal Gear Solid, or like Tony usually uses the remaster or remake of a game to be an.
That's my excuse to play something else.
Absolutely.
Brett, by the way, just real quick, just to add more context to what you're saying, Manny kind of just hit it right there. I'm looking at PlayStation and Xbox. I'm like, okay, both of you guys have games I've already beaten. Why should I subscribe to either of you? You know, that's the way I'm looking at it. You know, it's like, what does Xbox have? A bunch of shit I've already beaten. What does the other tiers of PlayStation have? Shit I've already beaten. What's the point? Mean, you know,
that is very subjective in the sense that there's a bunch of games on there that I'm not sure that you'd have interest in. But even then, like, I think you like The Ascent. I don't know why you didn't look into that.
I've never even heard of this game.
It's
That's
on
the one, the Cyberpunk topping.
Oh
game,
yeah,
right?
Oh, that game. Yeah. Oh, that game was trash. I played that for like 2 hours. Terrible. You know,
The Ascent, the twin stick Cyberpunk.
That was bad.
Super highly reviewed. I'm surprised.
No, Brett, you think I'm gonna go? Oh, the game's highly reviewed. I have to like it. Come on, bro. You know me better than
No,
that.
I'm not saying that. No. I didn't think that at all, dude. I thought I was like, oh, it's highly reviewed. I imagine there's at least something good in there.
No,
it's
too buggy. By the way, you said it's what I said is subjective. What you said is subjective too. You said nobody that you know doesn't play these games. I'm pretty sure somebody everybody I know plays retro games. You know what I'm saying? So everything we're saying is subjective here. You know.
I don't think so. I think just because everything's subjective does not mean everything is equal. All right. Like, yes, I bet you there are some people that are like, everybody I know plays retro games because we're all fucking hipsters in wool caps. But like, most of the people are not those people. Right, and especially let's be
by the way, Brett,
I'm
not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying this entire conversation is subjective. So I just want to just get that out there.
Fucking every conversation is subjective.
Yeah.
Like I don't think there's a whole lot of groups, but we guard these things like treasure. And I get that we have nostalgia for them, and we want to fight for a game. We want this game this classic PS2 game to come out on PS5, and when it does, I don't really want to play it. I'm just glad it's an option. Right, like
you're like, I'm glad it's there. It makes me feel good. But
that's
play it.
Yeah, well, that seems to be a majority of what happens. Then everybody arms up in the fanboy wars like they got 450 games. Like, yeah, have you played any of them? So, like, don't get me wrong, it's great. I just really want to put into perspective the whole library of classic games. It's not this huge monolith of things, of a thing that people have been begging for. You know, people aren't fainting in the street as they hear the news. It's not a big fucking deal.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, Xbox guys were touting, oh, look at all these games we have. We're coming back. These games are coming back. They did the same fucking thing, too.
Yeah, there is a bunch of games on there that are good. Same with the ones on PlayStation, but we've all played them. The thing with PlayStation is they're in PlayStation Essentials, which have not really... not even the essentials. They're in the main thing on the PS5. They give you all the best games without subscribing to a service, and that was pretty cool. But other than those games, is there any real need to plays?
No, I agree with you. Again, this is the reason why I'm not subscribing to the higher tiers of PlayStation, and why I am subscribed to Game Pass. I'm not trying to play old shit. I'm done with that.
And thus it kind of finally come to the point of my point. It's all about day and date. Even the best games on Xbox right now, most likely are day and date releases, that are several months old at this point. But those tend to be the highest quality games that come to Game Pass anyway.
Which ones? And name some of them in the last 3 months. That's my point.
I know Ascension was one. I know Back 4 Blood was one. My Ninja Turtles is one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one for sure. But
dude, all three of those were
not
clamored for and cost money on PlayStation. They were all 3 on Xbox. They're all valid points. Whether or not,
whoa! I don't think the Ascent is on PlayStation. Hold on a second. That game's not on Play. I think that's an Xbox exclusive. So let's get that right. That's why I have to stop you. Like, no misinformation around here. Yes, Turtles is available on PlayStation, and Back 4 Blood is on PlayStation. I don't think the Ascent is, bro.
Okay, no, I think you're correct. I think you're correct on that. Yeah. That one's my bad. But appreciate you calling me on that.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, granted, we have Turtles there. I got it on PC anyway, but I'm like, most of the games that have been coming out lately, they're not worth it for me that I need to play on day one.
No, but we're not even talking about for worth it for you right now. I'm just talking about the fact that there are games on there, Tony, that if both of us hadn't played, we'd be like, ooh, it's there, and we don't like a lot of the same games. So there's games for both of us on there that we both like. We've just kind of both played, so it's
one quick addition. The Ascent is on PlayStation, but it came out later. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it was like a launch. It was on there for a while. In fact, Digital Foundry did like a whole tech review when it was finally released on the.
Did they fix it? Because it was a hot mess on Xbox.
I can't remember, but I think they did see a lot of the.
There we go, Brett. So it came out eventually. So we were both wrong and right at the same time.
It's usually where the truth lies.
This is true.
So just to bring it, because I feel like this discussion is going nowhere. Because we're all subjective.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty simple. I think for me, it's either you have faith that the Xbox day one games are something that you enjoy and something that you think are going to come in and start a flood, and it's going to make it inevitable for you and anyone to have the service and therefore make it the best service, and that's for you. If you are into legacy, both of them do a pretty good job at just having a plethora of games. Honestly, it's kind of pointless to compare which back catalog is better because it's just so immense that it doesn't even make sense. Like, you're not going to play all of these backwards compatible games. If you have like a good subset of 50 games that you're going to enjoy on either platform, it's kind of irrelevant to even compare.
Hold on. In fairness, PlayStation bills this as 2 separate services, right? Like you get a back catalog of games. Like their basic service is different from their huge access of retro games, isn't it? Am I confused on something?
I don't know. I just the PS Plus is essentially just PlayStation Plus or the regular PSN and PS Now put together. There's different tiers. Microsoft has Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and the regular, which has the PC. Obviously, they both stream. They both do streaming. I can't really comment on the PlayStation Now's streaming since I haven't tried it. To be fair to them, I can't criticize or be supportive of it. But I have tried in plenty of occasions the Xbox One, and it is really, really good. And also, Microsoft and Xbox Game Pass has a better chance of having a third-party day and date. They had Turtles. They have they had Back 4 Blood day one.
They had Outriders, didn't it?
Yeah, I think.
Even
Yeah,
though
I think so.
Outriders, you know, but yeah, that came out. Tunic was another one, right?
The
Recently.
Plague Tale game.
Yeah, the Medium, right? That was another one.
The Medium.
Yeah, but
so. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But real quick, I just realized I actually wrote about this shit a couple months ago. So let's break it down. Again, I write so much shit, I forget half of it. So let's go for let's start with price here. So PlayStation Plus, the base model, the base one starts at. Do you guys want me to give you the monthly price or the yearly price? Which one do you think will be better for each?
I think most people are going to pay the monthly price.
Okay, so PlayStation starts at $9.99, right? That's the basic tier that everybody has had forever, right? The next one is PlayStation Extra. That's $14, which is the same price as Xbox Ultimate, right? And then you have PlayStation Premium, which is $17. That gives you everything, right? The new games, the backlog games, whatever. Obviously, you don't get day and date, but that's what's going on there. And obviously, Game Pass, you get $9.99 that's the starter one, and then $15 for the Ultimate. So PlayStation has 3 tiers, Xbox has 2, and PlayStation's upper tier costs more than Xbox's. So in that sense, Xbox wins because it's cheaper overall, right? So that's pretty objective right there, As far as the library goes, Game Pass has over 400 games that are available at present, and I believe PlayStation has like 800-ish or so, like 25 years worth of games and all that, right? So in that sense, PlayStation wins because it has more games on it, right? Obviously, one of the big draws of Xbox Game Pass is you could play it on anything. Play it on your phone, play it on your computer, play whatever. PlayStation, you're only locked to PlayStation, and I think PlayStation now is available on PC, but Xbox at Game Pass wins another one there.
Hey, real quick,
yeah.
Can I just throw in there? I recently was bored at work after I had a tattoo reschedule, so I gave the game streaming on Xbox a try. I successfully streamed Sea of Thieves on an iPad Mini. I was fucking shocked.
Yeah, exactly.
Shocked,
That's what I'm saying. You could play it anywhere. Another thing that Xbox has over it, like we talked about, day one games. PlayStation does not have day one games at all, and it doesn't. We probably will not get those because even Jim Ryan's like, no, we'll devalue our games.
Here's the interesting thing. They don't have day one game. Well, what was it that not Riders Republic? What the hell was that called?
Yeah, damn, who
that
wrote
was a day one.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a day one game. That thing that they put out there, the multiplayer game. So I think it's going to be, if they're going to do day one releases, it'll depend on the game.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not going to release a Horizon Zero Dawn or any one of those cornerstone games. But that doesn't mean something is not going to find its way on there.
Yeah. You know what? If you guys will indulge me, I'm going to read this thing that I wrote, the final couple paragraphs. To make it, you said you wanted like a full on breakdown. Here you go, man.
He said he put on the chat. He's like, "Yeah, we should move on. That was a dumb question." You literally said that.
You fucking asked it. You're getting it now.
He's like, yo, man, you sent me down the rabbit hole. We doing this,
man.
Let me verify this was Tumek. I think it was.
All right, so I'm going to read what I wrote. Your boy,
Your boy.
At a glance, Xbox Game Pass, specifically Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, seems better than PlayStation Plus Premium. Not only is it $2 cheaper per month, but you're also able to play Xbox games on mobile devices and web browsers via Xbox Cloud Gaming. Most importantly, Xbox Game Pass offers first and some third-party games at launch. That fact alone could make some people choose Xbox Game Pass Ultimate over PlayStation Now. But there are other factors to consider. PlayStation Plus Premium may not have games such as God of War Ragnarok at launch, but that and all future PlayStation users could eventually make it to Sony's subscription service. If you're a patient gamer who doesn't need to play games at launch, then you'll probably get newer releases eventually. There's also the fact that PlayStation Plus Premium offers hundreds of titles encompassing 5 generations of PlayStation consoles. Even if you have to stream some games, having access to classic PlayStation titles is nothing to balk at. The library of games on PlayStation Plus Premium will only grow with both new and older titles. And it can be argued that, given how Starfield and Redfall have been delayed to 3, that Game Pass is now less enticing. I agree with what I said there, by the way.
You agree with this person that you just read.
Of course, if you only own a PlayStation or Xbox, then you should subscribe to the service to whichever system you own. Also true. If both consoles have found their way into your home, you may want to subscribe to both services, provided you can afford them. As things stand, gamers should get great offerings no matter which subscription they opt for. Damn fucking right, you know?
That guy speaks the truth, whoever that was.
That's a good fucking writer, man. Just saying, you know?
No, but here's the question I gotta ask. Like, is that false equivalency?
How so?
Because I feel like the
Carlos.
let me just ask it this way. How do you even put it? Okay, I'll just say it this way. I wouldn't get a gaming service that didn't have day and date games.
Okay.
Straight up, because I feel like they're different places in the ecosystem. A service that encompasses day and date games can essentially replace my regular purchasing cycle, right? Otherwise, it's just I'm paying for a service of library games that doesn't change all that much, and I don't access very much.
But that's what Tony mentioned in the article. If that's something that's important to you, then that should be a deciding factor.
Exactly.
No, I know. But then we kind of always roll into, well, these have this many games and these have this many games, and it just depends on whether you want this or not. Like, I feel like one is equivalent to a backlog and one is equivalent to an ongoing library. Like, I just don't really feel like they're the same thing. I feel like there are certain things that PlayStation is definitely better for. Like, if you want the full arcade experience and the history of gaming, man, by all means, go there. But
Brett, we get it. You like it. You prefer Game Pass.
Game Pass, yeah.
What Tony was saying. I know why you're this kind of triggered you. What Tony was saying is, if you're a solely PlayStation gamer, and if you're a solely Microsoft gamer, you shouldn't like not think twice about subscribing to either service on the console that you currently have. That's pretty much what that last statement was.
What this feels like, it's like it's like saying going to the movie and renting, or going to the movies, or getting Netflix, right, is the same as, let's say, getting Netflix is the same as having a library card, because you can go to the library and rent DVDs. You're watching movies either way. Like
no. What he's saying is, if you already own a PlayStation console or an Xbox console, it's either and you like those environments, don't hesitate on either of the services that are available to you. It's like if you're only on a PlayStation, and that's all you're going to game on, then then PS Plus is a good service. If you're on the Xbox ecosystem or PC or something, then Game Pass is the way to go.
And I think maybe there's where I feel the distinction lies. If I feel like pretty much at this point, if you have an Xbox, it's kind of weird not to have Game Pass.
Yeah,
if you're
that's a weird thing.
Generally.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you are a PlayStation player, there is a chance you might like this gigantic fucking library of the greatest games ever made.
I agree too.
Like there's a chance, or you could be a new gamer or a more casual gamer, or there's a chance that you will be interested in this service, right? If you're on Xbox, it's almost essential that you're on the service, because you're just gonna get free fucking stuff.
Yeah, but the ironic thing is, I think only 40% of Xbox people are on Game Pass, which is insane.
I think they're like you, dude. They're just waiting for something to happen. There's no need to keep subscribed to a service that isn't going to pay out for a while.
With PlayStation, you got to pay at least the minimum, because you want to play online, don't you? You have no choice.
I think it's the same on Xbox.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got to pay the minimum at least, But anyway,
I think there are a lot of people hibernating on their Xboxes, to be real honest, and I don't blame them.
Yeah. All right.
I guess the difference that I'm saying there is when I use the library analogy, like, you can go to the library, you can rent a bunch of DVDs, right? They're going to be huge DVD section. You can watch all the movies you want, but it's all going to be like older seasons of Friends and shit. You're not going to get the current stuff that you would get on like Hulu, for instance. So while they're both valuable in and of their own right, one is, hey, I'm trying to keep up and play and watch the modern stuff, see the stuff that people were talking about in the water cooler, and the other one is gigantic library for super cheap.
Yeah, but at the current moment, that's kind of what they both are, because the new games that you're getting on Xbox are like blah, for the most part. I know there's some gems here and there, but those big, you ain't getting no Starfield this year. You ain't getting no Redfall this year. You know what I'm saying? You ain't get. The only one that's coming out this year is Forza. That may be up in there. You never know.
Well, I think noticing the difference between them is important, because it shows right now PlayStation is the better deal.
Yeah.
Right. Until Xbox gets their shit together and starts creating a basically live gaming service that is rolling out current games, it's got half the numbers that PlayStation does. So I think the distinction is important, because right now PlayStation is. In the future, it could be Xbox. That possibility is looking open.
Yeah.
But right now, it's PlayStation. If you look at it that way,
yeah, pretty
clearly.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is, like, I don't know, man. Again, there's a reason I unsubscribed from Game Pass and why I'm not going to the next tiers. For PlayStation, there's a reason for that. Moving on. That was a good conversation. I don't care what you say, to make it. I like that conversation. That was good. And hey, you wanted a thorough breakdown. Your boy gave it to you, man. Let's fucking go. As a matter of fact, I'll plug myself even more, man. I'm gonna plug my article into this fucking chat. You guys can read it, see my full breakdown.
You can take that. Now you can take that to the bank.
All right, man. Let's move on here. Another one from Doommaker. Remember, we're answering all the questions tonight. No leftovers.
Yeah.
It's Father's Day, man, and we are your fathers.
It's a celebration.
It's a celebration. All right. Next question. Is anyone okay? By Doommaker, you mean we're gonna stick to just gaming subscriptions here, okay? Because this could be everything. Is anyone else sick of subscriptions yet? With music apps, you pretty much get all the same music, but with TV, movie, and now games, you have to subscribe to multiple to get access to various content, and then there are no guarantees it'll stay there. This is why I'll always be the type to buy games and movies I want. Again, I'm only subscribed to one gaming service at the moment, so I'm not sick of it. I only have PlayStation. That one is my longest subscription service ever. Like, I've been subscribed to it since, like, Manny, when did it come out? 2008 or something? Like, when did that come out?
Yeah.
Or whenever PlayStation. No, it wasn't 2008. It was like 2013, 14ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever Final Fantasy 15 was announced, right? It was that year, I think, because we were like, "Oh, this is how Sony's gonna get these motherfuckers," Because we were like, "How is Sony gonna charge people for something they've already had for free online?" Then we saw it right there.
It's funny because also when PlayStation Plus started, it was not offering the free games thing, and we again. Throwdown has been running long enough for where we were literally talking about how this new PlayStation Plus wasn't all what it was cracked up to be, and then they decided, oh wait, we're gonna put some free games in there. Everybody said, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Free games. Yeah, we had discussions on what kind of free games we thought they were going to be in there, because it was like, they're going to be giant AAA first-party Sony exclusives, and we were like, nah, probably not.
Yeah.
By the way,
Brooklyn Bear, I think he's right. So I think PlayStation Plus started in 2010, but it was free at the moment. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then,
it's not. Yeah. It wasn't free. It was still paid for, but that's when they had free game trials, and that's when they had you could
free
get
online.
The free online was free for PlayStation.
No, you're right. So 2010 is when it started, but you could still play games free online at that point.
Yes,
right?
Their online service was all free. But
because I remember
that was how they thought they could make it. They were able to essentially get people to pay for stuff. You're not paying for online. You're paying for a subscription service, but the subscription service, whatever they were offering, was garbage. The free game trials weren't any games that really anybody cared about playing. Like shit, like what is it? What was it? Zombie, Plants vs Zombies, stuff like that.
I remember that.
Nobody gave a shit about.
Didn't they charge for text chat? Or am I tripping?
I can't remember.
I kind of vaguely do remember that, but the thing is, I remember when they started charging themselves. Like, I had already been subscribing to this rate, so it didn't change anything for me. But once they I think about 2012 is when they did where they actually gave did the PlayStation Plus what we knew of, where it's like it comes with free games for PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 or something like that.
PlayStation 3 at the time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but at the time, I believe Microsoft was charging people to play online, and PlayStation had this big thing of like, no, we let you play online for free. And then they came and they're like, okay, so we got this new service, it's gonna have all this stuff at internet access.
Yeah. And
no, they didn't lock.
Like that.
They never locked the internet access. You could still, to this day, you can still play on
multiplayer access.
No, they didn't lock any of that either. All the multiplayer.
No, it's totally locked.
No, not for the older games. Not
for anything for PlayStation 3. It was never locked. It was only once 4 came along. That's once they started closing the doors down. But you could play. To this day, whatever servers are still
PS3
open,
games are still
you
free.
You can still play PS3 games online.
Yeah, for free. Yep.
But yeah. But the thing about it is that because they saw what Microsoft was doing with their subscription, because everybody and their mother was essentially, because they wanted to get online, was playing the online service for Xbox, Xbox. So that's how they were like, okay, so how can we get people to pay for this for internet on our side? Well, we can't get them to pay internet, but what if we gave them something? And that's how PlayStation Plus started. But it was, again, like usually like Sony does, where it's like the most minuscule bullshit that you could ever think of. Again, free game trials. It was some other things. Like they were giving away a couple of games that nobody gave a shit about. It was not anything that anybody cared about. But then as soon as they said, oh, if you play PlayStation Plus, you get this amount of games for your PlayStation 3, your PlayStation Vita, or PSP at the time. Also, a side note, you know how like Sony said that they would honor games that were previously gotten by you? That doesn't include that you bought, but that doesn't include previous games that were PlayStation Plus games. So, situation like Siphon Filter. Siphon Filter was a PlayStation Plus, game. That won't appear on your new thing, on the new thing.
Interesting.
You can't retrieve it, so it's interesting.
Yeah. All right. What the hell was the question? I forgot it already.
If we're tired of gaming subscriptions.
Yeah, I'm not tired. I only subscribe to one. I'm not tired. I'm good.
I don't like that there's literally a subscription service for everything, but I only have, the PlayStation is the longest one I've ever done. The longest gaming one I've ever done. But as far as longest one ever, that's probably Netflix, because I wasn't doing Netflix when they were still doing discs.
Man, old school.
I did my Netflix, I think, was since like 2008, and I canceled it for the first time last year. And Xbox, I started my subscription in 2004, and I'm still on subscribe on Game Pass.
Oh man,
they should give you like a, what's that thing? What do they call that? Incentive for having the damn thing for so damn long.
A perfect attendance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hold on, I just realized. By the way, Chris, are you here, man?
Yeah, I'm here.
You haven't said anything for like the whole segment. I just realized.
He stepped away for a little bit.
Oh,
yeah,
is that
I did,
what it was?
I did.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, Chris, you all right, man? You sleeping, right?
No.
All right, just checking in, man. Just checking in. Anyway, subscriptions. Anything else?
I mean, I'm not really sick of them. It's like, honestly, if you don't care for one or the other, you could drop it. Like, you don't have to keep anything. Like, nobody's forcing you. Like, they could sell you a bill of goods. Like, look, with the fucking video streaming services, most of them are trash. I don't pay for them. I'm not getting Peacock or Paramount Plus. Fuck Star Trek. Like, fuck that shit, So right, you don't pay for it. Like,
your past Chris would be like, "What did you just say?"
Yeah.
Boy, I'd have to sit myself down. Like, you ain't seen nothing,
yeah.
man. We gotta watch this shit.
And by the way, just to give, I think most of the chat is around our age, around that same ballpark. But for the people that are younger, back in the day, when you subscribe to something, you subscribe for like 2-year contracts, where 2-3 year contracts where it used to be cheaper price in the beginning, then just ballooned up, and if you wanted to cancel, you had to pay a huge fee. So with the foresight of with the background of that, and knowing how it used to work back then, nowadays when you have a a subscription service that you don't, you regret it getting, and it was only on a monthly tier, you can always just cancel it, and you only pay for a month's worth of regret.
Yeah,
You
pretty
can
much.
subscribe to them as you need them.
Yeah, come back and like all your account stuff is still there. They didn't get rid of it. As a matter of fact, I just got an email from Netflix like, "Hey, we want to come back?" It's like, "No, I'm good. I'm good."
No, but see, here's the thing, and I don't know if any.
Baby, come back.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys were the same. I just cut the cable.
Well, good for you.
After I lost my mom, and she was the one, the old people like fucking,
Yeah.
The cable. So here's the thing, though. Since I got the cable, I can afford literally every fucking streaming service for less than the price. Cable is $100 a month, right? Like YouTube is the most expensive. I want to say it comes in at like 45, but I can get Netflix, Prime, Hulu, fucking Disney, HBO Max, and I'm still at like $65, some shit like that, right? Like I spend so much less on streaming services, and that's not even juggling them, right? Like you could pop on a streaming service, pay $15-$20, watch the shit out of everything for a month, and then fucking cancel it. And if you kind of break that down into cost of entertainment in terms of like how much cable used to cost, or even going to the movies, no matter how you cut it, it's cheaper now, I gotta say. And I'll go further on to say controversial opinion, I fucking love streaming services, right? Like I not only love streaming services for the convenience, I love streaming services for what they did to the fucking industry, right? Like everybody wants to bitch about, how they're kind of ruining things and blah, blah, blah. I'll be honest, I get more quality content at a higher production value now than I ever did. And all the best shit comes on the streaming services because they have a pre-installed, they have an install base that they know is going to be there, and they just have to keep them on a little bit longer, right? And so they can put, like, that's how Disney Plus can put so much fucking money into these Star Wars shows, right? They've cost way more than any of the fucking movies. And they've been of higher quality. Let's be honest. Like the stuff now is way better than the last trilogy.
It's funny. Like I saw some people complaining about the Obi-Wan show being cheap in some way, looking cheap in some way. I'm like, you motherfuckers never grew up with normal network TV special effects. Because this for movies was good back in those days.
Yo, but not even that, man. Battlestar Galactica, the most recent remake, is goated by me and a lot of people, and everyone that loves that show can admit the fucking visuals are hot garbage.
Yeah, no, I'm on that team.
Which is funny because they looked amazing back then. When it first came out. I
mean, not necessarily in comparison to movies, though.
Not the movies, but the TV shows, they absolutely were.
See, but there's the difference, though. Why did we have those different metrics, right? Like, we don't have that anymore. We have TV shows that look as good or better than movies now. And there was no reason that the only reason we ever had that distinction is because they didn't put the money into it, because streaming services weren't around. Right?
Also TV budgets were never anything near film budgets.
Or streaming budgets. That's what I'm saying. Like the whole Game of Thrones changed everything that way.
I mean, I would say a couple of other things that sort of switched it around, but yeah, the thing is about like, because they're now, I also feel like they did the numbers and said, hey, listen, we're filming about like 5 TV shows worth of content and cutting it out of the movie. What if we actually kept all that footage and turned it into a series?
Right. And I think that's a lot of the long form TV that I've seen has honestly been better than movies. So I'm getting better made things with higher production value. I'm getting more of it, both in terms of releases and the length of the releases. It hasn't been music. That's been a slightly different thing, and I'm not going to derail and go into that. But I am saying, like, there's a really interesting thing in the book Freakonomics, which is one of my favorite books. Super fascinating. But it basically talks about what.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just real quick. I love that Brett says I'm not going to derail this conversation.
We're
talking about movies.
Yeah, so let's get back on track.
No, I'm talking about streaming services. I'm still on point here.
Yeah, but the thing is, I specifically said let's try to keep it to just gaming streaming service.
I'm keeping it to gaming streaming services. I'm there right now, man.
Okay, go for it.
The point I was going to say is that they talk about looking at the motivations from things, right? And my motivations with game streaming companies are aligned. Right now, their motivation is to hype me the fuck out, sell me a product, and then not give a fuck. That's in their best interest. They get their money, they skip town, whatever. It doesn't really matter how good their game was. All that matters is here, right now. Right? Subscription service games right now, they want to sell you a bunch of fucking loot boxes, right? They want to make the game not fun for you so that you keep trying to pay your way into having fun. But streaming services, their motivation is to keep you engaged as long as possible. And that doesn't always make the most compelling gameplay, looking at you, Warcraft. But what it does is it makes them interested in keeping you engaged. And your interest as a gamer is to stay engaged, right? It doesn't always have to be the most life-changing experience. You just want to be engaged. That's why Warcraft was such a huge thing for such a long time. And that's why people were so fervent about it. They got so evangelical about it. They wore their fucking t-shirts around it. It became a way of life for them. It became way too fucking big that was healthy. Right? But that's just because it kept them engaged so much. And I'm at this point in the game, I am not against developers having the main motivation of keeping me engaged. Because right now, I don't have enough content to keep me engaged. And that's my biggest problem. End rant.
All right, man, let's move on.
And see.
No, we're not moving on.
Yeah, we're still talking about subscription. We're fucking done, man.
I gotta quote someone. Yo, this shit was fucking gold.
Okay, what?
Yo, when you put on the chat, my mom's cable is $150, and all she watches is Univision.
Or Telemundo. That's all she watches at $150.
Oh my god!
Is there any chance you could just get the subscription to those two channels?
Yeah, right. Jesus Christ! And you know who pays for that, right? It's not her.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. All right, man. $150 for two fucking Hispanic channels. They're for free. They're on regular fucking.
They're on the air.
They're on the air. Oh man! All right, let's move on here. Last one from Mr. Tumeke. All right. I wish Brian was here for this one, man.
I'm here.
What are your thoughts on the current state of AAA games? Is it heading in the right direction or stagnating?
Well, I mean, it's kind of like blockbuster movies. Eventually they're gonna hit their. It's sort of hitting its sort of repeatable factors. I mean, people have been saying the PlayStation, formula for a while now.
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. Me, I'm Mr. AAA. I live on AAA. Even I'll admit, it's getting the same now, man. So I'm like, I'm feeling like a man without a country, right? So I'm like, okay, I don't really care for these indie games. I've been playing indie games for 15 years now. I can't name a single one that's ever gripped me as much as a AAA game has, right? But at the same time, these AAAs are all becoming samey. So I'm like,
you mean Ninja Turtles?
Well,
that's an indie game.
But again, when someone asks, "It's like my game of the year?" Absolutely not. I love Turtles, but come on now, it ain't up there like that. But yeah, if it wasn't for Elden Ring this year, things would be fucking bad, dude. So I'm not gonna say we've gotten there just yet. Because you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, right? That is a very formulaic AAA game, but it was fucking awesome, So it can still work if you do it right,
I would say that was formulaic by today's standards, man.
You know what's weird? What's weird about it? It's sort of a throwback.
It is a throw. I actually said that in knock knock in my review. Like, this game reminds us of what AAA games used to be like,
Yeah,
So but by that sense, it is a by the numbers AAA game from 5 or 10 years ago,
but it's not standard now.
No, it isn't. That you're right.
It isn't.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because if it was,
let's break it down. Let's break it down. World game.
There you go. It would be open world game. It would have multiplayer, some type of bullshit in there. It would have multiple DLCs. But I'm just naming Assassin's Creed stuff at this point. It would just be Assassin's Creed.
Because everything is Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, basically.
Here's the thing I don't get about Assassin's Creed. You are just go the extra half step and make it an MMO, man.
I think they're already kind of doing that with Infinite. I think it's called Assassin's Creed Infinite.
And that's why I think we're honestly at maybe I'm just being hopeful here. I think we're at peak hot garbage right now, because MMOs they have a tendency to kind of be fun, and we've gotten away from those. We've stopped making MMOs and then started turning other games into MMOs. So I think when the Ouroboros, or when the snake finally eats its own tail, we'll have MMOs again, and it'll just kind of like maybe write itself out a little bit. But at this point, we're just playing giant dumb MMOs by ourselves. What's that? Yeah, well, there's Korean MMOs. Yeah,
they're all Chinese and Korean now.
Yeah, but even then, like 90% of them don't come over. Like, it's weird. American audiences are like, nah, I don't want to do that. But like, if you take out everybody else, I'll totally do that alone. Like, that makes no fucking sense. You're just playing a giant sad MMO by yourself now. Whatever. Like, I think that it's going. This is not its final form. Please, dear God, don't let this be its final form.
This is not its final form.
And also we've hit the whole delay stuff, the pandemic, all of that. It just has not helped the state of AAA gaming.
That's what I'm saying. Like, AAAs are just dismal right now, the state of them. Because there's barely any of them to begin with,
Yeah, and I feel like less studios are making like AAA games, like true AAA games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say that they're in a good place right now. So they're stagnating for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. I think that they are as fuck. All right. Who is this? Eurocar 9. I've seen him in the chat tonight, man. Talking that shit.
Yes.
So his first question is an interesting one. For those that are fans of the Final Fantasy series, are you more excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Final Fantasy 16? I'm going to say this, right? And then we have Throwdown. This is on record. I specifically said I was more excited for Final Fantasy 16 than Final Fantasy 7 Remake, right? I said that. But now we're talking about Rebirth. And we saw the ending to Final Fantasy 7 Remake. So now this is a tougher question, man. This is a tougher question. Because my whole motivation was I want some new shit. Final Fantasy Rebirth seems like it might be some new shit.
That's why they killed all the canon ghosts in the previous one.
Yes. So this is a tough one for me, man. I don't know how to answer this.
New territory for that.
And here's the thing: we know Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be solid.
Yeah.
We don't know about Final Fantasy 16, but we know that maybe the heights of Final Fantasy 16 might be higher than 7 because it could literally reinvent something.
That's what I'm saying. Like, here's the thing. Rebirth is going to be new stuff, but you also kind of know what you're going to get, right?
Yes.
Final Fantasy 16, like you said, it could be bad, but it could also be way, way better than even 7. It has that potential. The potential exists there. So
just because it's a new Final Fantasy friend.
Yeah, because it's a brand new. And again, this is why I love Final Fantasy. When you get a new installment, you know you're getting a brand new type of game. It may not be that great, but it's something brand new.
Isn't this basically just a new skin on 15?
We don't know that yet. Because remember, I mean, here's the thing. You could say that maybe mechanically, but it's doing something that a lot of people have asked for. They're going back to medieval shit. They haven't done that since 9.
Yeah, no, I'm speaking mechanically.
Yeah, mechanically. I think they're going to be in that vein for a while because that's what's hot. People don't like turn-based anymore.
Yeah, it's going to be action RPG.
So both games, it'll be interesting. How are each of the games going to differentiate themselves mechanically from one another? Because they're both action RPGs. So that's going to be interesting to see. It would be nice if like 16 was a little bit more strategic or whatever, but who knows? But you know what? I'm going to give the cop-out answer. I'm equally excited for both of them.
I will say the same, but the opposite. I'm excited for neither of them.
There you go. All right. Who else? Yeah. Go ahead, Carlos.
I'll say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Just because I'm pretty sure I know I'm gonna enjoy that game. Final Fantasy 16, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be. I'm super hyped for it, but I'm just praying that they stick the landing with that one.
Yeah, it could be
Rebirth.
another. Yeah, it could be something bad. It could be another FF8.
It could be that.
I doubt that. I don't think you get that again.
It could be it's not a worse situation. But it could be another Final Fantasy 13. I know Tony liked that game.
I did, but that's a fair thing to say, though.
And or the worst case scenario, the ultimate worst case scenario, the biggest bag of shit that they could throw on us is this shit. It pops up on the screen at the end. They show a trailer and it says Final Fantasy 16 online.
Oh no! See, I was going to say that I'm so glad that Final Fantasy 14 has blown up because that ensures we're not going to get another mainline online game. By the way, that always bothered the fuck out of me. Why are you calling it Final Fantasy 11? Call it Final Fantasy Online and keep it separate. You ruined it. You've ruined the whole continuity of things. You know what I'm saying? Like we have the main core series, then you have these 2 online games, numbered games. Rah! You know. But anyway,
I mean, it still is technically Final Fantasy 11, so
yeah, it's also true.
Yeah.
So thank you, Final Fantasy 14, for existing. That means no more online games. You stick there, do your thing, and let us keep our numbers.
Just add updates.
Yeah, just add updates. You're good. You know. Anyway, does anybody else care about Final Fantasies?
I mean, I haven't played a Final Fantasy game in a while, so I mean. I'm not too keen on the action RPG stuff, as I feel like it sort of defeats the whole purpose of that game, those type of games. But at the same time, it's like that's what people, the public demands. Well, Final Fantasy to people are ones where they actually press the buttons and they do stuff as opposed to strategically, setting up your actions. But you know,
Chris, do you care about Final Fantasy?
Yeah, I haven't in a long time. But if I had to pick one, I'm more excited for the new one.
Yeah, 16,
I
right?
played Final Fantasy 7 already. No,
So
you don't want to see Sephiroth 100 more times?
no.
Hear that song? That's Sephiroth.
wait, you don't want to play the beloved game of your childhood in a form that's damn near unrecognizable?
Oh man. All right. Where are we right now? Another one from Mr. Eurocar. All right. A lot of you guys are fans of the God of War franchise, and it seems like Manny and Brian, especially Brian, have had some sort of franchise fatigue with the IP. For those that have not felt it yet, do you feel like it's in the realm of possibility that God of War Ragnarok could do that for you, especially knowing that the game is a PS4 port? Interesting question. Well, considering how God of War Ragnarok is like supposed to be like the end of this particular set of games, this duology, I don't think it'll be fatigue. You know what I'm saying? But I am wary of the fact that, or not wary, it's just I'm somewhat bothered by the fact that it's another PS4 game. You know, like yes, I realize Horizon Forbidden West was awesome on PS5. Yes, I get that, but it's still a PS4 game, so that makes me less excited. You know. But I don't think I'm going to get fatigued because again, we've only had one game of this version of God of War, so I want to see what else they're going to do with it. You know, ask me if they do 6 more of these type of games. Like by the time I got to Ascendancy or whatever, God of War Ascent, whatever the fuck it was, the trash one, right? I was like, okay, we need a reset here. This is just bad now.
But I also feel like God of War Ascent was not also the best example of a God of War game. Yeah. It wasn't, it was like worse than the, than the PSP ones. Like the PSP ones do better jobs of God of War games than that game did. Yeah, so I don't know if for me, it's not really franchise fatigue, but I feel like it's sort of lost that fun of the God of War games.
That is franchise fatigue.
I feel like it's not like it's not like but they changed it, not me.
Yeah, but the franchise when the franchise can't deliver anymore on a product that they keep making over and over again, then you're fatigued on them. They're not.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Man, he doesn't like where it went. He's not tired.
I don't like where it went because
if they kept getting the same. Manny, correct me if I'm wrong here. If they kept giving you the God of War games you wanted, you would still be in there, wouldn't you?
I would still be in there, but I feel like this is a totally different game now. It's only God of War in name, and it just so happens to have Kratos in it. You know
exactly.
What I mean? It's a totally different game. It's not anything else.
It's not fatigue.
But for me, it's like fatigue is using the same IP on a different slab of Marvel. It's like you're like why is the point of naming this God of War when you could have named it anything else? I feel like that adds to the fatigue, and also the onus is on the developer to not make you feel the way you should, and I feel like that's part of the fatigue.
the other thing is again, it's not like it's not what it's even billed as a sort of soft reboot. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's it's just taking it in a different direction. I just don't care that much for the direction. I feel like it's lost its sort of tongue in cheek sort of game sort of idea, and then sort of like, now let's get serious and be a dad now,
But I feel if you had God of War and you renamed it to I don't know, fucking Wolverine back in 2018, I think it would have been highly touted, even more highly touted.
If it was a new franchise, like if it was a new franchise and had that idea on it, I personally probably wouldn't be so harsh on it, because I still remember what God of War games used to be.
I just think the direction was so changed that you almost need to regard it as a new franchise.
It's almost like it is a new franchise, because you can't do a lot of the things that you used to be able to do in those sorts of games. But then again, what would you say like for a Final Fantasy remake? Because it's the same sort of idea. It's a reboot, and they totally switched around the controls.
And I'm not, somebody here will probably correct me because I'm not really sure of the exact definition of franchise, but like, I don't know if just using the same intellectual property makes it the same franchise.
Oh, it does.
It does.
It does?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're milking the same cow for the and expecting. I mean, you're milking. It could have been an old cow or a new cow, just naming it the same name. It's like you're trying to pretend like it's the same thing.
I think the other thing about the God of War franchise is it's the form that it has taken currently is because of franchise fatigue.
Yeah.
That set in on God of War Ascension.
Yeah, thank you. That's the name of Ascension. Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, it's like I'm fatigued of, like, I'm not fatigued, but like my interpretation of this being a fatigue is like they're reusing this IP, and it's like they don't really need to, and I'm fatigued of that, and that's why I'm looking at this game that's different than it used to be, and with such a lens, that it's the same IP that they've been dragging around for a while. That doesn't even represent what it used to, and that's just how I interpret franchise fatigue. But to answer the question, and by the way, it's a great question, Mr. Eurocar9 asked. I would feel franchise fatigue with Ragnarok if I see a lot of the aspects that Manny hated about the first one, the 2018 one. The boat rowing stuff, the open world but not really open world kind of stuff. Like that kind of things that I felt like were limitations of the PS4 more than anything, and probably time, because they probably didn't have time to develop something as like big as sort of the map presented it out to be, and hopefully Ragnarok can be sort of a fully realized version of what the 2018 version of God of War was. And if it does that, and it doesn't reuse the same villain 3 times, then I would really appreciate that game, and not go through the fatigue that could potentially be present if they did do that.
He'll be back. I can't die.
Yeah, but by the way, like I said at the top of the show, God of War, that God of War is one of the games I beat this year on PC, and when I replay, I'm like, oh yeah, it reminded me why I love it. The game's fucking awesome. I'm ready for Ragnarok. Yes, again, the only sticking point I have is that it's a PS4 game, but I'm like, this is fucking dope. And like I said, I was personally fatigued of God of War, so I'm so glad this game went in a different direction. Because here's the thing, it went in a different direction, but it still feels like God of War to me. That brutalness, and I like seeing Kratos kind of evolving, and so I'm like, let me see where this is going. This is cool. And again, I'm not like seeing this from rose-tinted glasses from 3 years ago. I literally beat this game 4 months ago, and it's still fucking amazing to me. So I'm ready for the sequel. Even though I hope it comes out this year. That's the other problem, man. But this motherfucker may come out next year. If it do that, Sony just cancel on PS4, just put on PS5 at that point.
It just a lot of it felt like busy work, and I just wanted I wanted something a little bit more to the point than like, hey, let's go, roll around our boat to this, I mean, I am impressed with the technical stuff of it, but I don't care for the stupid, Demon Souls like aspects of it. The stupid, shitty, what do they call that? Where you have like purple armor or
that stuff annoyed me. That's
armor.
that's not really Demon Souls. That's not fucking. I don't know what they call
MMO junk.
Yeah, I that part I didn't like. I agree with you on that one. No, but I thought the adventure was fucking great. It was fucking amazing game to me. So I'm ready.
Also, sort of felt a little incomplete, but incomplete and complete at the same time.
Yeah, because it is just part of it.
You just the fact that it's just one boss that you're continuously fighting over and over again.
Yeah, no, I didn't mind that because I then again I like the actor. He's pretty cool. Faraday from Lost. All right, let's move on, man. We still got more questions tonight. Yeah, we're doing a long one because most of us don't have to go to work tomorrow. So and it's Father's
really?
Day. Yeah, it's Juneteenth.
Are they actually doing that as a?
Yeah, I don't get off tomorrow.
Yeah, I do, but Juneteenth. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. By the way, that was not a thing when we were kids. That's a new holiday.
No, Juneteenth is a recent thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't it was a thing, but it wasn't.
It wasn't a holiday. Yeah, but I was like,
holiday.
Okay, I don't know what this stuff is, but I'll take the day off. And even
though
I'm fucking working tomorrow, I'm writing because I'm like, I could catch up on stuff now.
But the thing is, it's not a national holiday. It's dependent on the business.
It depends on the business. Yeah, it depends on the business. I wouldn't be surprised if it does become a national holiday, though. Where are we right now? Kishak, what's going on, brother? All right, he's been joining us in the chat. All right, out of the big three, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, which manufacturer's games do you think are always held to the highest standard and scrutiny? Interesting question.
I always feel like it's Nintendo. I'm not Nintendo. Well, excuse me, Sony.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna say it. Nintendo gets a pass. Let's just be real here.
Nintendo does get a pass.
They get a pass.
Oh, they always get a pass.
Yeah. I think Sony.
So if you ask who's the least scrutinized, it's them.
Yeah, they're the least. Yeah, Sony I think probably is the more just because the quality of their games. Okay, that was a simple one. But I'm just going to move to his next question because it's related.
Okay.
Do you think PlayStation's pedigree of releasing high critically rated games is working against them? For every game they release that raises the bar, they make another insurmountable mountain that they have to climb to beat the previous one. Do you think they should sandbag every once in a while to reset expectations, or are they past the point of no return? Little fanboys there, but
yeah, and they released Life of the Black Tiger, so that reset already happened.
That wasn't them that released it though.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's still a palate cleanser. But no, no. For as good as a first party publisher Sony is. They don't have the cleanest track record.
Yeah, they don't.
Obviously, they don't have I think they have one of the better ones, or probably the best one. But by no means is every game a critical darling.
I mean, for at the same time as Gravity Rush came out, which was a very good game, it didn't do very well.
Nobody talked about it.
Nobody talked about it. I mean, there's The Puppeteer again, another game that was very good but didn't do very well. So they're not always squeaky clean.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Here's a big one. Yeah. Days Gone. That game was critically panned, but it sold a lot, But it got to a point where they're not going to make a sequel for it, even though people want a sequel. So, Sony.
And the Order 1886, which did very well, was critically panned, and that one is not coming back.
Yeah, so Sony doesn't need to, quote unquote, sandbag anything. They have their misses, too. It's just people don't talk about them. So
Knack.
Yeah, Knack, another Joey, what's up, bro? Knack, your game, that's another one that didn't really take off. Let's just be real here. So yeah, Sony is not always just dishing out bangers. That's not the way it is. So, but I do
sometimes
agree.
They're making mash.
Yeah,
bangers and mash.
Yeah, remember what's the name of that fucking game that Ubisoft developed it? Oh my god, the first person one for on PS3. You know what we're talking about. Haze.
Haze?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. God.
You know?
You can still, by the way, you can still have your Haze icon on your PlayStation.
Yeah, you can.
That's still one of those things you can still get.
And what about Mag, right? That game, basically every game is Mag now, and that game didn't really take off like it should have. So yeah, Sony, they've had their losses too. Everything's not just The Last of Us. The Last Guardian did not do very well either. That's another one.
No,
you know,
that was yeah. I mean, it got very good reviews, but at that point, I also say that the thing about
Oh, yeah, Manny, hold on. All of Japan Studio, womp womp. That's all gone now.
Yep. Yeah, all of Japan Studio is all gone. And I mean, to be honest, the Japan Studio did make a lot of their sort of middleware sort of games too.
And then you have
Even
guys like Brian, screaming about Siphon Filter. That that's not back. So
no, it's back. It's on PlayStation Classics. You can play the original one.
Yeah. So yeah, Sony, they don't need to quote unquote sandbag it. They have their losses just like everybody else.
SOCOM.
SOCOM. I always get SOCOM and whatchamacallit confused. It's like they're both
Spec Ops.
Yeah, Spec Ops. I always get them confused. Is it Spec Ops?
Spec Ops. No, that's Spec Ops The Line. That's not it.
No, the one I just named like 2
Siphon
minutes.
Filter.
Thank you. Yes,
yeah,
I literally said the name and I forgot it. Siphon Filter and SOCOM. I get them confused all the time.
Starts with S's.
They start with S's and they're both military shooters. All right, next up.
So is Spec Ops The Line, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Wasn't that the one? Was that the one inspired by The Heart of Darkness?
Yeah, Spec Ops The Line is that one.
Okay. Mob hits.
Yo.
All right. First question: with Capcom utilizing the RE engine for Street Fighter 6 and most upcoming games, is the RE engine an all-around engine for all types of genres for Capcom? Can this bring?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me finish the question. Can this bring major revenue for Capcom if it decides to outsource the RE engine? That last part is speculative, so we're not going to go into that. But yeah,
that's their studio engine now.
Yeah, that's their studio engine. Yeah, and I'm pretty
Just
sure
like
Capcom.
It's just like the MT framework was before that.
Yeah,
it's just that thing that's their company engine now.
Here's my question, and this may have happened already, so please correct me. Even though I'm not just asking the question. Can it run 2D games?
They haven't actually done very many 2D games on there. A lot of their games are all 3D now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because Mega Man, the Mega Man 9, was it? No.
11.
That ran on MT Framework, as I remember.
I believe you're right.
A fixed version of it.
Yeah, let's look that up. But I believe you're right.
But that wasn't really a 2D game though either. It was 3D.
It was 3D. Yeah, it was 3D. Yeah, MT Framework, Manny. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
But again, so this is just Tony assuming. I'm not a developer. I'm assuming since it's Capcom and they have 2D games, they probably made it friendly. Because think about it, even Street Fighter is not a 2D game, obviously, but it's still on a 2D plane, But maybe if they do make 2D games, it'll have to be 3D, 2.5D as they call them. But yeah, overall, I agree. I think it's a good engine for Capcom. They should keep rolling with it. The outsourcing stuff, we're not going to go into that. Who the fuck knows? I highly doubt that. No,
like as far as outsourcing, I don't know if
way too speculative. Yeah,
I don't know if they would put their engine on the market. Only one studio there's a few studios that have done it, but the most well known are. Obviously Unreal, and then of course there's Unity, which is the two.
Yeah.
But Unity doesn't develop any games.
Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection was made on RE Engine. Wasn't that 3D as well though?
Yeah, it was sort of a semi 3D game.
Yeah, so that's my point. But again, that game's also 2D scrolling. So yeah. All right. Next question for Mr. Mob Hits. Interesting question. Does Sony regret not making a PS5 style Series S? They do have that. It's called the digital console. It's just they don't advertise it. And that console, I actually do know people that own it, but it's almost a myth at this point.
I own it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like the only reason I own the physical one is because I couldn't find the digital one. So
I don't think that it's the same thing. It's $100 more expensive, but it's also the same specs. So it doesn't really come in as
it's not
like
it's
the
not,
budget console.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not 1-to-1, but that is its version of the S.
It's not supposed. It's not going out on the idea that it's going to be the budget console. You know, it's going to be like, okay,
it's more
if you
affordable,
want discs or
know?
you don't.
Yeah.
It's trying to give you the option of whether or not you want to accessorize. It's more two versions of the same console than a console and a budget console.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. There's more differences, but that is the closest.
But here's the thing: people were annoyed when they first announced it. People were annoyed that the S wasn't equivalent to the X.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
That turned out one of those things where people. It seems a thing with Microsoft where they kind of know it. Their customers don't really. I hate to say it, don't know what they want because they keep being like, oh, we're gonna do this thing, and everybody gets so mad, and then that just becomes the norm.
Yeah.
So.
But I also think that obviously that, you know, I think we even mentioned this on the show. It's like, okay, you know, that's like if you want to play those next gen titles, but you don't have the budget and you don't want to deal with the whole thing, you know, the whole rigmarole of, you know, getting games, physical games or anything like that. You just like, all right, just cut the cord on it. But yeah, it doesn't offer the same fidelity as the X.
Yeah. So okay, I'm glad Mop is here. But yeah, just to clarify, so he just meant like spec wise. So I guess does Sony regret not making a weaker console?
I don't think they are.
I don't think so because think about it, the PlayStation 5 is still the most sought out console, you know? So they're probably like, wait, people want this thing. It's always selling out and it's $500. They have no reason to want to make a cheaper one, you know?
I don't know if that. I think that's so much. I think it's a little bit more brand loyalty than anything else, though.
Is it?
The PS5 being the most sought-out console? Yeah.
I don't know.
It dominated the last generation, and there was a ton of carryover. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I see what you're saying. I don't know if I could agree with that necessarily, but I see where you're coming from.
They sure as shit didn't buy the PS5 for the superior line of exclusive games.
Yeah, well, think about it, right? The PS4, for a good chunk of its life, most of the people that were buying PS4s were former Xbox 360 guys. You know,
yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying. A lot of the ecosystem moved over to the PlayStation. I think a lot of the PlayStation was kind of bought with, you know, I'm a PlayStation guy now.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think I don't think either console, I want to make that very clear, I don't think either console has shown a reason to acquire it on its own.
Agreed, right? Yeah. Especially this generation, you know. You should. I said I own a PS5. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody right now.
So actually, I'm curious about the rest of the. You know, am I alone on this? Do you guys think the PS5 sold on its merit, not its name?
It's still a better console than Xbox. Objectively speaking, it's still better than Xbox Series X. Because even though, yes, it does have the same games as on PS4, it at least still has exclusives. You know, Xbox ain't got shit. They got Halo and Forza. That's it. You know. Ooh, with State of Decay. You know what I mean? Not forget that one. That riveting game right there. You know.
What exclusives for the PS5?
Exactly we're just talking about like brand in general. I literally just said even though some of these exclusives are on PlayStation 4, you know, but if we're gonna go with PS5,
that's still brand. That's still brand, Tony.
You know, no, these are games. I'm talking about games right now. I'm not talking about brand.
What games?
Demon Souls, Ratchet and Clank, and fucking Astro. Just cause that's still more than Xbox has. Which, oh, by the way, you know how many exclusives Xbox Series? Because we're just talking about purely exclusive for the system, right?
I don't know.
You know how many? Whoa! You know how many Xbox Series X has? 0, none.
Dude, I'm not doing the whataboutism thing. I'm just genuinely asking you what exclusives enticed you to buy a PS5. Not as opposed to an Xbox. Just
you see the trick though. You hear the trick though, because he knows he's asking me, and I'm the Sony guy. So obviously I'm going to buy a fucking PS5. You know, that's a given right there. You know, but I'm saying if you're trying to buy the system, PS5 actually has more exclusives, like legit exclusives, than Xbox.
And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying, like, I don't know if that's enough to get somebody to spend money on a system, even if they already have a PS4.
Yeah, although like I tell people, you shouldn't buy any of these consoles anyway. Right now, they're not worth it.
And that's kind of where I'm going. I was like, don't get me wrong. I'm not.
I bought the PlayStation based off of the brand name. I'm being real about it.
Yeah.
But I bought it off of, this is PlayStation. They're going to make some high-end exclusives. I'm going to buy this thing so that I can play them later on. It wasn't like there was anything on the market that I'm like, ooh, it was, I'm probably going to like PlayStation. I should snap up one of these things before they become, completely not available. And I did.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people bought them.
You might be right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know. By the way, I always keep forgetting about Returnal because I don't like that game. But yeah, that is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. You know. Yeah. But yeah. What was the question again? Oh yeah, they're serious. I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on here. By the way, Chagzilla, dude. Okay, these are questions that he asked us after the show had already gone live. Like, gotta ask us before 10 p.m. Eastern, bro. Otherwise, your questions are gonna be shunted over to the next week. You know. Chakzilla. All right. Are you looking forward to any upcoming DLCs for any games? It seems like many game developers waste time and resources on DLC and pre-promised content that never ends up being worth it. No, I'm not looking forward to any DLC that's coming up.
Yeah.
Cuphead.
Yeah, that thing's been that's been in the making for a while.
Yeah, I consider that almost a new game at this point, you know. But you're right.
I'm looking.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 8 DLC. The Shadows of Rose.
Ooh, I forgot about that. There we go. Yeah. There we go.
Are you gonna play Resident Evil 8 Village in third person now? Full Ethan Winters mode?
I think Kristen will do that. I platinumed the game already. I played every single mode and even Mercenaries, and I already got the plat for Mercenaries, so it's like, so the added modes don't appeal to me. I'm playing third person. I'm just kind of like, I already enjoyed it. I don't know, maybe for fun I'll do.
You're like, oh look, person. He's moving his arms.
Yeah. I just have things attack me just to
How
see
is
what
it gonna
does.
look like when he puts his hand back on?
Yeah, I'm not gonna see all the gore when she gets his hand cut off. What do you see?
I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna keep some select scenes. You know,
I don't know.
Damn it, Manny.
Oh, good.
You just put the idea in my head of him running away like Kermit the Frog. Both arms in the air.
You know, it's funny because they actually did pull the camera out, using mods, and they actually did show what there is a full Ethan Winters there, like a full body there, but the hands do retarded things, because to make it look like that, look good for first person mode, but you'll see the arms go gummy around to try to get the gun to work and stuff.
Yeah, I'm with Brooklyn Bear on this one. I think the cutscenes will probably still be first person. You know.
I don't know. They said they redid all they enjoy all of Ethan Winters' animations.
Yeah.
So what does that say?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying.
Did they were the cutscenes made in engine or not?
They're made all third person. They're all made first person.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The thing is they said they put all this work into it, so it means that there's a whole at least from what it sounds like, the whole damn game is in third person.
Yeah, we don't want to make that assumption, though.
We don't
want
to
make a lot of scenes that.
I'm just saying they could go that way, but I'm not saying they will. We don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like the Lady D fight when she smashes his head into the floor. I don't know what that
would
look
like
in third person.
Yeah.
Like you experience that, that's in first person, right? She slams you to the ground.
That's my suspicion, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway,
I'm more looking forward to the Rose stuff.
Yeah.
That the news story with his daughter. That I
cool.
want to play.
Yeah. All right.
Rose.
By the way, I'll ask this question. It's kind of related. Is anybody interested in the Outriders update? Nope. I'm good.
No.
Out what? What game is that? No, literally, I don't know what game that is.
Outriders is that game that came out during the pandemic and shit. It was basically.
Actually, I played it with you, Tony.
Yeah, we did. We played it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that the one? Was that the one that's like Fortnite?
No, it's not like anything. It's basically Gears of War, World War One. Like a mishmash of both of them. Superpowers, a little bit of Mass Effect in there. It was basically every third-person action game jumbled into one.
Oh, I am totally blanking on whatever that game is.
You literally say this every time we bring this game up. By the way,
for Bison it was Tuesday. At least for me.
I literally that was one of the few last events I went to before everything like that. And I flew to Los Angeles to play this game. But yeah, I reviewed it for PC Mag. I didn't beat it. I was like,
This
I
the
got
one
bored.
that-
I put like 60 hours in this game. I'm like, I'm done. This is stupid. I'm done.
Is that the one that Amazon released? And then
No.
released?
That's
Oh,
no,
okay.
it's not.
I remember that game more than I remember this
Yeah,
game.
this is a Square Enix game.
Oh, okay. That narrows it down a little bit.
Yeah, but that game was not good, so I'm going to go back because this new DLC has like them. It's like a frozen part of the planet. I don't care. I'm done. Don't give a shit.
I'm looking forward to Into the Pit.
Into the pit.
Yeah, Fallout 76.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. What other DLCs are out there? I felt we got thrown a bunch of them during these shows, but I don't know. Whatever.
Grounded coming out with this. Let's final.
Well,
That's not really a DLC. They actually finished the game. That's part of the game.
Babylon's Fall, that fucking game. Everybody forgot about that shit. Babylon's Fall had one person playing it on Steam at one point. Like, talk about talk
that
about
one fan. He's like keeping it alive.
That's another Square Enix failure right there.
Better than Godfall.
That one's getting an expansion too, I believe.
Why?
I don't know.
They're going free to play or something?
Probably.
Isn't that what the deal was with that?
Yo, man, is Elden Ring getting an something DLC,
it
man?
should.
Dude, that's all I care about. And yes, it's going to. We all know it's going to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The way it's weird. From Software puts out their DLC very interesting. They just give it to you. It seems like there's no not a lot of
you bought it in Bloodborne.
Yeah. It's like they didn't it just seems like it came out. Like they didn't seem like they were doing a shitload of advertising for it.
No, they don't need to. They quietly whisper it to one guy and then he sets the internet on fire.
Yeah. They're like, Bloodborne DLC. What?
Did you guys hear about the Bloodborne DLC?
That's wild. All right, man.
They never put that one out for the Samurai game, did they?
Which one?
Sekiro?
Yeah, Sekiro, yeah. They never did one for that one, did they?
I don't think so.
Like a story DLC. They did DLC for it, but they didn't do story DLCs for it.
Yeah. All right. I think we're done, man. That was a good show. Good show. Beefy show. All right. Does anyone have anything to plug around here?
I think I have something that just came out, which is a milestone. There's a milestone milestone history or something like that. It just came. It's going to be coming or is out. I didn't know how the thing. I just have a bunch of the comps that they sent me. But yeah, that's actually going to be out or is out. If you're interested. And that's all I got for now.
Yeah. Oh, Brett, Sea of Thieves DLC.
Oh yeah.
So there you go.
Yarr.
Yeah. Okay. GZDR. No, we're done with Destiny around here. Fuck that. We're done.
Yeah. Wait, no, wrong game.
Wrong game. No Man's Sky DLC. You mean Starfield?
Yeah, that's Starfield.
Oh man,
Man's Sky.
Starfield, No Man's Sky. All right, man, we're done. So make sure you follow us on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations are always popping and Mob Hits is always dropping the rumors. You can find Throwdown on any podcast app on the planet by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown Show. You can also visit throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. And if you have been watching us on YouTube and you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like and subscribe to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Sucker Free Sunday.
And Brett Murdoch.
Deuces.
All right, people, you already know Thursday later.
Peace.
Later, people.